Brian,
it's okay to talk to the internet, but it's when the internet talks back. So that's when you got to worry.
Hello, internet.
When you told me you were going to use... What was that?
That's my modem. That's a dial-up sound answering you back when you call the internet.
Craziness.
Oh, Brian, when you told me you were going to use the hot chick from Operencia on the thumbnail, I really thought you were going to use the chick with the green ears, with the green skin and the horns, and she looks
this shows a lot about AJ's preferences in women.
She looked like an elvish Carmen Electra. I thought you were going to use that one.
AJ, I've said this time and time again. What do I know about hot chicks? The answer is nothing. Can we cue the cat?
Cue the cat. Because I want to say what's up to Void Cat. What up? The villain nemesis says hello. Twitcher, single player game cat. I can see you, Twitcher. I see you.
I'm so
By the
happy.
way, Twitcher wanted me to say that if you make a game in Dreams, use the tag GameCat, just like Gumball's Game Room did. I'm going to start putting that tag so we can search by GameCat Creations in Dreams. Darth Vader, Lord Vader is here, the GameCat. Woody the Bluebird, Dave Station VR in the chat. Also on the show, everywhere. He's everywhere. Colt 45, Rainman 88, 50 the GameCat, our trusty news scooper, on fire as always, blasting our news channel with tons of good delicious. I don't know.
He's coding it from top to bottom. It's soaked in news.
Yeah.
Delirium Drew VR. What up, player? Believe H3 the Spartan Game Cat. Steve IRE. Death Venus Blue. Herb the Game Cat. Gamer Chick 13 Imzadi, Wink Rogers the Game Cat, Cody Hendricks, hello, Geist on fist bump to you, Mr. Puppington, hello. He's a good look. I told Mr. Puppy be a good puppy and subscribe, and now he's chilling in our GamesCast. Bell Romeo the Game Cat, latest mod, what up, homie? X Pacer X LJ the RE7 Game Cat PSN LJ. Don't die. Yeah. Rody the Game Cat, another mod. Great Tantrum. What's up, JP? Hunter, the FNAF fan. You're going to want to hear what I have to say later, but you might not like it. Proud Dog, Rose Ace, TJ Silverlake, Sinner669, the Unholy Game Cat, Killer Tricks, my homie, Just Incredible VR, my other homie, Perfected Insanity, Nike Alexandria, the Game Cat, and Kyle, PSVR. We're gaming.
And we're live, aren't we? Are we on camera? We've been on camera.
Yeah, no. I always like to switch over when AJ's in the middle of the rant, so we can just stare at him and go, I wonder how long this is going to go on for. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we bring it to you live. That's right, because that's what live means. You guys know that. You're here right now. Actually, most of you aren't. Most of you will watch this when it's not live, so everything we're saying is irrelevant. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without parole, and the guys to my right, The Boys, which I finally started watching, Dave from Dave Station VR.
I hope you're liking it. It's a great show.
It's good.
Caught up on season 2
real
now.
Fucked up.
But new episode tomorrow. Oh, it's so fucked up. I love it.
And on the far right-hand side of your screen is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What up, Brian? What up, Dave? What up, Game Cats? What if I told you that there's only 13 days left in this month, and we have 6 games coming out still, just this month alone. It's going to be crazy. We got a good show today.
If you told me that, I'd say, you're totally right. Where'd you get all that good information? Was it from your own Twitter account? Was it from PSVR This Week? Who knows? There's a lot of good sources. But
everywhere. Just channeling the Earth's energy for all the PSVR information to come right here.
Wow. I'm feeling very channeled on my own channel.
On your own channel, yeah.
That's right. Guys, there's so much news to talk about and so many things we want to discuss. PlayStation 5, Minecraft, maybe Walking Dead, all sorts of great stuff, right? I just looked around the show. Minecraft's not there. We're not going to talk about Minecraft. But first, we should begin the show with the way we begin every show, with a little game of should we or shouldn't we, when we put 60 seconds up on the clock up on the counter, the way that Jeremy likes it. Man, I missed his little thump. Where did his little thump go?
I can't do it because there's always this little delay thing. It's always weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
Plus, it's better when Jeremy does
Do you know how hard it is for me and him to time our meows at the beginning of Why We Love It? We get it once out of every 3 times. And it's our time to tell you out there, the little game cats, whether you should or should not be playing and or watching the things that we've been playing and or watching. Playing, watching, doing, whatever we've been doing. Who wants to go first? Wow.
I'll go first.
Looks like AJ. Very like AJ. He's doing a little dance.
I was eyeballing the fuck out of Dave. I was like,
nope. And I played chicken with you and I won.
On your mark, get Des, go.
So, as you know, I've been checking out this amazing sale. There's a couple games that I was missing, And this one that I played, I don't think I mentioned this already, but I played Cave Digger, and it was okay. It's not great. It's not bad either, though. It's just okay. But of all the sale games that I went and played through, the one that I liked the most ended up being No Heroes Allowed. It is a tabletop strategy game with a cool. It's made by Japan Studio, and I beat the entire game. It was a lot of fun. I think maybe if I mentioned it before, I didn't beat it yet, but I went back and just all through the weekend beat it. And yeah, it's really cool. It's not the most immersive in terms of features, gameplay, and stuff, but the characters are pretty immersive. The way they talk to you, the way they interact with you, do help you feel like you're actually there. But it is a fantastic game and highly recommend from the sale. Should we?
How long did it take you to beat it?
Just a couple hours, like maybe 5, 7 hours. I don't know.
Did you die a lot?
No.
Yeah, pretty easy game overall, especially once you figure out the whole ecosystem of the monsters and stuff.
Yes, there's a couple levels I got stuck on that I died a few times, but overall pretty easy. Like I said, not this crazy immersive VR game, but a really good game overall, and that's really what matters to me most.
I think that and Table of Tales are really a good, exemplify what you can do with tabletop games in VR and like what you can make, what good use of VR you can make on something that's fairly simple. I like that a lot.
Table of Tales is definitely still my favorite, but No Heroes Allowed is right after it.
Nice. Excellent. Dave, do you have one ready?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
In that case, on your mark, get Des, and go.
All right. So this is a game that I know is near and dear to Brian's heart. It just got a sequel, and that's Spelunky 2. I always loved the original Spelunky. Maybe not as much a fanatic as Brian has been, because I think you told me within the past few years you were playing it daily, right? That was kind of like your little Vita play in bed kind of hang around thing. Which, I mean, it's such a perfect game for that, because you can do 10 runs in 5 minutes if you're lucky. It retains all the great stuff about the original Spelunky. I'm still terrible at it and super rusty, but I had a great time with it so far. It's got co-op and online co-op, which is cool, which should make things a little bit easier, I guess. But if anybody wants to play online multiplayer with me, hit me up. I think it's up to 4 players. So yeah, Spelunky 2, I mean, it's just more of the same, done better. And yeah, totally worth it. If you liked the original, you got to check this one out.
4, 3,
2, 1. And it's $20. That's it. Buy it.
Nice. Yeah, I think Spelunky is one of those games that, we just had a $20 conversation on GAMESCAST or on Viewer Takeover. The shows are all identical, let's be honest. But we talked about $20 games and what you expect from a $20 game. And I think when you look at a trailer Spelunky, you're like, this is not what I'm expecting for my $20. But then you play it for 200 hours and go, I guess I got my money's worth. Guys, can you handle that tip for me? Because I'm looking something up very quickly here.
Hey, Jay, you want to grab that one?
I got this one, because that's going to be my dude, Robbie B, the English game cat. So posh, so proper. With the £5 donation, and says, moment of truth. Did you good sirs snag a PS5?
Hell yes. Well, I know at least
question.
AJ and I did. Brian, I haven't heard from you yet. Did you get your hands on a pre-order?
You want to talk about that now? We can talk about that now. Yeah.
Well, he asked us. He paid us.
Yeah. I got one. We can talk about the details later on.
We'll talk more about it later. But we've all got one locked in.
Can't wait
I said
to
at the
talk
beginning of the show, it might not still be there, but maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, Target had more stock of both. So if, while you're watching, check out Target, see if they still got them. Fingers crossed. Good luck, guys.
Is there somewhere on Amazon Prime, that'll show me what I've been, like the last thing I've been watching, like my history? Because I figured I could just go over to Prime and go, hey, what was the last thing I watched? So that I could tell you about it, because I just watched it and it's awesome, but I don't know the name of it. This is so irritating.
I don't know. I'm talking with the chat. Sorry. What was the question?
It's okay.
He's trying to remember what he watched on TV, so we don't have the answer.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting here.
But I just watched.
Oh, I got
it's
it.
kind
Perfect.
of funny. Pen 15. If you guys haven't seen Pen 15, I thought was fucking hilarious. It's on Hulu. Check it out.
You say 10,
Brian, what
15?
do you got?
Is that what it is?
Pen 15, like penis spelled with the INS as numbers.
No, I'm all cut
Like
up.
when you're in middle school.
Yeah.
It's like a middle school show. They're in middle school, but it's funny as hell. It's very adult.
Nice.
Anyways, Brian,
All right.
what do you got?
Well, now that I finally figured it out, I'm a Market Set Go. You guys know that the only real comedy that I like is stand-up comedy, which is, I mean, sometimes true and sometimes not. Jeremy and I had a conversation on the Litter Box recently about The Interview, and he said he's watched it so many times. I was like, man, that just seemed to me like such a awful, phoned in, like, let's make a few bucks kind of movie.
The North Korea movie?
Yeah, and then I watched it and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, actually, it was really funny. But stand-up comedy, getting back to the point, I just watched Gina Brion, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Her special on Amazon called The Floor is Lava. And it was like, I mean, it's great. It's great. I very frequently say, oh, it's one of my favorite stand-ups of all time every time I finish an awesome stand-up. So keeping that in perspective, let's just say it's something that you should definitely watch if you like stand-up comedy. It's hilarious. She's got a very interesting take on things. Starting off, I thought it was going to be extremely generic, and she turned it around and totally sold me. I'm a new fan. Gina Brion, The Floor is Lava.
All right. I have not heard of that one before.
Good stuff. All right, you guys. I'm sure that we've got an action-packed show ahead of us, so I'm guessing that maybe we shouldn't mess around too much. The only housekeeping we should probably take care of is let everyone know to join the Discord. The link of Discord is in the description down below. Click that link, join Discord. It's free. That's where this conversation happens 24/7. You get to hang out with all of us. Not that that's a privilege, that's for sure. But you get to hang out with all the other cats. That's the privilege. Always an interesting topic of conversation, especially over the last 24 hours with everything that's been going down. AJ.
Brian, we have 14 things to talk about today, including some new game announcements, new release dates. You thought we were done getting games announced for September. You were wrong, because we've got more to discuss. We've got a game that has arisen from the ashes after being in the dark.
From your grave.
After not hear about it forever. We finally got an update on that. Cannot wait to talk about it. But first, we are always going to start the news we're going to start the news with anything PS5 related. And and behold, something major happened with PS5 yesterday. We had the PS5 event, which was basically revealing the price. It is at $399 for the discless version, $499 for the disc version, and it's going to be available on both November 12th and November 19th once it gets out into all regions. Gentlemen,
start your engines.
Tell me about this conference.
About the conference overall?
Yeah.
I mean, the exciting stuff that you just mentioned was like a 5-second clip at the very end of the thing. So the actual presentation itself was a lot of in-depth looks at games that we've seen before for the most part, except for like Final Fantasy 16, which is a huge reveal to start the show off. They had some heavy hitters, I thought, as far as flat screen stuff goes. I mean, they dropped the teaser for God of War Ragnarok, which everybody's freaking out about, I'm sure. Yep. So I mean, if you're still playing flat screen games out there, this was actually a really good presentation compared to the last one they did, where they had the guy for Godfall just talking incessantly about the mechanics. Like, they just let the footage speak for itself this time, and it was a much, much stronger presentation because there weren't people talking over the whole damn thing. And the PS5, I think that's a great price. $400 to get a PS5, like, those ones are going really quick. I've noticed, like, when you get the chance to pre-order, digital is almost always sold out. So even if you're targeting a digital one, you might have to settle for a disc version just because those are selling so fast. Obviously, they're all selling out, but those ones are going quicker from what I've seen.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the price. I think the price is pretty much exactly what we've been talking about for a while now. I think for what these systems are pumping out, I think it's competitive with Xbox. I get nervous. Obviously, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. I get nervous that people are going to think that the Series S is more powerful than it is and go, I can get into next gen for super cheap, which it is, but then I feel like they're going to need another console in like a year. So taking that out of the equation, obviously 500 v500 is an awesome comparison for the two consoles. And if you do want to save a few bucks, then then yeah, you can get the one without the disc drive. there's been a lot of conversations about about physical versus digital, and I don't know if you guys want to get into that at all. It's a little bit scary. I know a lot of people are concerned about the future of gaming and how gaming is kind of turning into disposable media for people like me who's always been a collector. I've finally turned the corner. I only bought the one with the disc drive because I have so many PlayStation 4 games, and if there's even a hint that they're ever gonna let me put in a PS1 game into this thing and let me play it that way, I would love if that happened. It's never gonna happen, but just in case, I need that drive there. But I don't actually see myself buying any PS5 games physically this time around, for no other reason than if you've seen my apartment, my walls are just coated. I mean, from top to bottom with Nintendo games and 64, all the way through the generations. And I don't need another generation of plastic cases with no instruction manuals lining my walls. So even though I'm getting the one with the drive, I am going all digital this time around.
Pretty much same boat. Cats, let us know which one you got as well if you pre-ordered one. But yeah, I was saying before the show, it was funny. I was like, I these days I have no idea what Sony is going to do. I used to be able to predict it. And I said they were going to show Miles Morales, maybe announce a new exclusive or something. They were going to show this, what was it, like a competition to Game Pass or something. And then I also said $400 and $500. And man, I kind of nailed it. No, but no, I thought it was a good conference overall for what they were trying to do, which is basically just be flashy and get people excited. It was all hype, right? It wasn't this like typical. I'm used to seeing Sony conferences where they're like, this is the GUI, this is the XMB, this is what the create button does. And that's my biggest criticism of the conference yesterday, was it seemed like they just took a bunch of gameplay and trailers really fast, put these 5-second clip or like 2-second, 5-second clips of the
sacred symbols, man.
The sacred symbols
floating up and down.
Yeah,
like
they kind of just
circles and X's.
Like, I've seen better editing from Brian, who's a fantastic editor, by the way. That's not a slight in any way. But Brian has shown me, like, yeah, it is not that hard to. I mean, it's a lot of work and stuff, but this is a billion-dollar company, So I really would still like to see the UI and stuff. There's so many things. As a PSVR owner, it was a little hard to watch because I'm like, this is great for lots of other people. But I am still, just like I posted on Twitter earlier, I bought this thing because I have faith that we're going to be getting what we want. It's just going to take a little time, and they need to handle this first. And I think for just trying to get PS5s out the door, it was pretty good. What do you guys think about the PS Plus collection?
I think it's really only a huge benefit if you're just buying. This is your first PlayStation. Like you had an Xbox before, or you were a PC guy or something. Yes.
Especially at like previous Xbox PC owners.
Yeah, because if you've been with PS4 for most of this console generation, I mean, whether or not you got into VR, or when you got into VR, a lot of these games you've probably already played or purchased. I think almost every single one of them I've played or purchased. So there might be like one or two that are kind of exciting to have, but it is also nice to know that you've got a library of games with PS Plus that's supported day one on your PS5, because the launch library is a little thin from what we're seeing, like confirmed launch titles. So having extra games to play, maybe if you didn't ever get around to playing Last of Us or something like that, would be cool, I think, when you get the new console.
Yeah, I mean, even if you had PlayStation 4 last gen, I think some of these games are going to be pretty appealing. This is something they didn't have to do. I'm sure plenty of people skipped. Do we even have the list handy of what's in this instant collection? What's it called? The PlayStation Plus?
The PlayStation. Yeah, I think it was just the PlayStation Plus. So in terms of VR games, there was a lot of, I thought, big hitters, a lot of great games actually. But
there we go.
Most notably for us, anyways, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
That's worth the 500 right there. Yeah.
That is, as far as I remember, the only confirmed game that has PSVR support that will be included with this. And of course, the PS5 is backwards compatible with the PS4 hardware, including the PSVR headset. So like I said again earlier, no more excuses. If you have PlayStation Plus, you need to play Resident Evil 7. Look, at the end of the day, guys, this game was designed to be fun and be played and be an awesome experience. Yes, it's scary, but you will not regret it. I promise you. You will. It's meant to be played, Brian. It's meant to be enjoyed.
No, it's not. It's meant to ruin your life and give you nightmares until you die. So here's the full list right here. We got and if you've played all of these, you are a bigger PlayStation fan than I'll ever be, and I think I'm one of the biggest PlayStation fans in the world. Batman: Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit: Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, very strange, The Last of Us Remastered, The Last Guardian. That's not strange at all. Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Until Dawn, pre-Rush of Blood.
I played 12 of those, but there are actually more than I thought that I haven't played.
Well, and they're going to keep adding titles to the collection, so that. Okay. And I don't know. Do they have a? I'm checking this story out right now and seeing if there's something I missed. Is there a time frame?
Sorry,
like, do you have
to clarify real quick? Is this only PS5 owners with PS Plus get access? Okay,
yes, it's not PS4 PlayStation 4
Plus. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
just making sure.
You don't have to pay any extra money. It's just part of the PlayStation Plus subscription, and that's it. It doesn't say. I'm a little weirded out by the whole thing. I'm wondering if it's going to be a time thing. If at some point they're going to say you got to add all these to your collection by this day, and then we're going to just put them back on the store for the normal price. I can't imagine this being like anyone who buys a PlayStation 5 from now till the end of time just gets all these amazing titles as part of your PlayStation Plus subscription. But I mean, they are raking in the money with PlayStation Plus, so that wouldn't be the worst thing ever, especially if they keep adding to it.
Jim Ryan did speak with gamesindustry.biz earlier today.
How dare you?
This morning, actually. And they were talking about the inclusion of AAA first-party titles. And he basically came back and said, I don't want to screw this up, but I'm looking for the actual quote. But he basically said that releasing, they make a lot of their money off of exclusives. And that is kind of what Sony has bound themselves to in order to sell PlayStations. I think it's a good model. I believe in next generations. I believe in console exclusives, or just exclusives in general. I think it gives you an appeal to a certain system, something to set it apart. That's more important than just the way it looks and stuff. But he basically said that they wouldn't be able to sustain, making money and stuff if they were to add their AAA first party titles to this PS Plus collection. And I think it makes sense to me. They're not going to do something at the level of what Microsoft is doing, but this is something trying to, like Dave said, especially if you're an Xbox gamer or something who's buying a PS5, it's a great opportunity to catch up on a lot of stellar titles, have a bunch of stuff to play at launch. And I think it's a good idea overall. But in terms of moving forward, I don't think this basically confirms that we're not going to see AAA first party exclusives as part of this lineup.
That's weird you said that with at least, I know Infamous is there and The Last Guardian's there, and what was the other one? Uncharted 4 is there, and God of War is there. It was that's quite a few AAA or pretty damn close to AAA first party titles. So maybe he's just saying in the future, as things come out, maybe that's what he's implying, saying Demon's Souls won't be there day one as it would be in something along the lines of Xbox Game Pass. Maybe that's what he's saying.
This is the official quote. We are not going to put new releases into a subscription model. These games cost well over $100 million to develop. We just don't see that as sustainable. That's the exact quote.
Yeah, 100%. And that makes a lot of sense. We'll see. We'll see how this all pans out this generation, because they will do what they have to do. If Xbox Game Pass ends up being something that sells Xbox Ones, then I think Sony will maybe reverse what they have to say about that.
I mean, honestly, the price of the low end, the $299 and the Game Pass together, like along with the fact that they've got a payment plan that you can do like 30, I think it's 35 bucks a month for a year or two, and you get everything, the console, the Game Pass, all that shit. This is the first generation that I'm considering getting both like close to launch.
No.
Just because I love Game Pass and I would like to play that stuff on a console. And I like that Xbox has early access games too. The PS4 is never going to do that, or PS5.
We have a €5 donation from Bel Ramio,
cool.
the Game Cat, one of our mods, newest mods. He says, I saw a lot of games coming around Q1 2021, etc. Do you think maybe it is COVID delays that also might have ruined Sony plans a bit?
Yeah, probably so.
Absolutely. COVID has really thrown a wrench into a lot of things. I'm sure this whole year would have played out completely different, as well as the schedule of the future. We already know that from the rumors, from trusted sources, that Resident Evil 8 Village was originally planned for like January or February of 2021, and now they're saying that it's a possibility that it's going to be pushed back a little bit. So, I don't think it's going to be a huge effect depending on what you're looking at, but they'll still have a steady stream of games. But for the most part, I would expect some delays, and I would definitely put a lot of blame on some of the difficult presentations and stuff. The way everything has changed. The whole landscape is evolving right now. So it's even if it's a little bit, everything is changing for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine how many games slipped out of the launch window that we didn't even know about. So we could, it could be a slow start for PlayStation 5, but I feel like every console always has a fairly slow start. So this isn't really anything new. And plus, if with PlayStation 4 backward compatibility, it's really just, I'm looking at this for myself personally until they say something very concrete about PlayStation VR. I'm looking at this as my PlayStation 4 Pro 2. It's my next mid-generation upgrade. Because right now, I mean, you guys know, I'm not playing anything on a flat screen. And anything I'm going to play on a flat screen, I can play on my PlayStation 4. This is just making sure that whatever is happening VR related, we're ready for.
Robbie B, the English Game Cat, has a £2 donation. Says, what was the deal with expensive EU games? I don't know anything about this. Maybe you two do?
Oh, yeah, so when they listed the prices, they had like $69.99 in US dollars for some of these games that are, first party launch titles. And then in the EU, it was like $79.99 in pounds or euros or something. And people were like, wait a second. This doesn't make sense. Not only are you not accounting for the conversion rate, you're making it more expensive here? Mm-hmm. Like, what is that about? I can't remember if I heard that they said it was an error and they didn't mean to do that and they adjusted it or what. But there was like a little hubbub about that. I saw those prices when they were up, and it didn't look good for people in Europe. So
not every game is going to be more expensive, but it does seem like it's going to fluctuate a good bit. That's for here too.
Well, so this launch lineup says to me that every game coming from Sony gets $10 added onto it on PS5, because Miles Morales would have been a $40 game,
first party
$50 game. That's what I'm saying. Everything coming from Sony. Third party, I have nothing. I have no clue what they're going to do.
They're AAA. They're bigger titles. Yeah, it seems like that's going to be the case. I would definitely expect some smaller indie ones. Probably not, but
the thing that throws me off is that they're selling what is that, Destruction All Stars?
Yes.
As if it's as full on an awesome, exciting launch title as Demon's Souls remake, and like they didn't even show a smidgen of footage from that game. Yeah. Nobody knows or cares about it, and it's $70.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a huge failure. Like, unless they can build up some big excitement on Twitch or something around this new game. Like, it's not an existing IP. Nobody knows what it is. It looks just like any generic free-to-play, kind of online sportsy esports thing. And it's just like, why would anyone pay $70 for this, other than it's the only Sony game out besides Demon's Souls at the time and Miles Morales. So, I don't know. Seems like a stinker.
Final thing, one of the final things, there was this pre-order snafu, right? they told us a while back when there was fake rumors going around about pre-orders. You know, a bunch of people started going to stores and stuff and getting ready, and that turned out to be total BS. That just caught fire for some reason. And they told us straight up that we're not going to have this last second, 1 minute notice and then pre-orders go live. They kind of broke that promise, man. And some people are upset, and I don't blame them. I was very fortunate enough to just have the right timing to see it. And, shout out to all the cats in the Discord as well that were alerting everyone else and sharing links. We all kind of came together and a lot of us got pre-orders. So I know a lot of you got your stuff secured.
Yeah, the only reason I have one is the Discord. Pacer in there hit me, posted that he had in his cart from Walmart, and I was like, "Whoa, right now? Okay!" And I just went and I got lucky, and they were gone in like 5 minutes. So keep an eye on the general channel in our Discord, and also I would say during this broadcast, guys, if anybody gets any word on Twitter or any update that there's a store with stuff open, tell us in the chat. Put it in all caps if you need to. I'll stop the show and tell everybody, go get your stuff, because it's still kind of a mad rush to grab these things when they pop up. So good luck, guys. Hopefully we'll get some new ones.
Kyle,
for sale soon.
I think Kyle WIR Gaming had in our Discord had reposted what the Wario tweet, Wario 64 tweet. And so that's the only reason I got mine, because Rypop actually sent me a text. I was actually calling it quits for the night. I've been refreshing Amazon over and over and over and over again. I even had company, and we're sitting there on our phones together, being like, I don't know, like, are we gonna be able to get one tonight, or is like, should we just call it quits? Finally, we just like, called it quits and decided to watch a movie. And next thing I know, I'm getting a text from Rypop, being like, they're up, Amazon, go. And I'm like, oh, stop the movie, like, let's do this.
So you got it from Amazon?
I did. Yep.
Because I didn't know anybody else that had actually successfully got it in.
I did too.
Yeah.
When I went, I don't know if you saw my tweet, Brian, I posted last night. Every time I'd click on the PS5 listing, it would just show me a picture of a dog of somebody who works at Amazon. They were like, meet the dogs at Amazon.
And every time you click on it, there was a different dog.
Yeah, and the whole page just like didn't exist for me. While
adorable.
Other people were on the site getting pre-orders. Like, they were like, yeah, it's in my cart right now. And I'm like, I see dogs. What are you talking about? It's dogs.
Yeah. I was thankfully, I was actually like every single person I could contact. I was texting, I was calling, friends of my friends, like all because of our Discord, all because of Rypop, all because of Kyle and everybody that had a part in this. All of my friends were able to secure a pre-order from Amazon last night. So
awesome.
Our Discord is awesome usually, but last night it was especially awesome. So that is great news, especially since I got an Amazon like credit card. And I didn't want to and you get more money back when you buy something on Amazon. And
there you go.
That was, it's a matter of a few dollars here and there, but I was holding out. Dave, you called me when the Walmart pre-orders went live, and I was like, I could have gotten one right then. And I was like,
well, I think by the time we got off the phone, I think they were dead by the time we got off the phone, I think. Because I went to call AJ right afterwards, and I looked, and they were already sold out. And I was like, what am I even calling him for at this point?
The digital sold out in 1 minute. I had to get the disc version. I said I was going to get the digital version. It was gone in 1 minute. So that's the hot one right there, because it's just cheaper and stuff.
Yeah.
And
how much is this gonna? Sorry, I was gonna say, how much is this gonna end up hurting people when they get the disc version or they get the digital version, and then they're finding out that games are cost $70 now, and they can't go to GameStop and pick one up used.
I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, because only in a matter of months, games start going on sales these days.
Yeah, but that said, like, say you've got a friend in town who likes video games too, and like you guys decide, hey man, one of us will buy this and then let the other one rent it.
Yeah.
I've done that with games before. I can hold off on God of War for a little bit until my friend finishes it. And a few games like Neo and some other big ones I've done that with. It's just nice to be able to lend your friend something physical.
Well,
and say,
you
hey
have the
man,
option.
no cost. Just here you go.
You have the option, and the disc one is $100 more, but it's more. It seems like it's easier to get. Anakin says, what would sell me on a PS5 immediately is if it plays all PS4 VR games, because I don't have a Pro yet, and Dreams feels really limited on my base PS4. So I want to say something and make this clear right now. First of all, we are happy to officially announce that Brian,
hi,
Dave, and myself are going to officially be covering PSVR for both PS4 as well as PS5 in a couple months. And that is freaking exciting to me.
Yeah. And
Now-
I was so worried that one of us wasn't going to get it. Like that
Yeah,
one of us would miss the pre-order, and like, I'd be the guy sitting here with my hands under my ass, just not having anything to do.
Dave, you don't know the things I've done for good grades. Forget about a PlayStation 5. So I was not concerned at all. I will sell myself on the street. I will do whatever fucking awful thing it took to get a PlayStation 5. I wasn't concerned in the slightest. How do you think I got a 4.0 GPA in college, Dave? It wasn't because I was studious.
Studious in a different way, perhaps.
Very studious.
So I understand some people here, may not want to jump the gun too early and buy a PS5 without it's totally logically reasonable to not want to buy a PS5 yet without them saying, it's what's the extent of it's going to be PSVR supported.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I 110% believe, even if it's not at launch, that there will be PS5 VR games, and there will be eventually a PSVR 2 that will work with the PS5. I think it's going to be at least some months to go, several months from now. But, I bought this thing 110% believing that they are going to support it. They've shown me plenty of reasons to believe. In 25 years, they haven't let me down with this yet. It might not be as fast or flashy or big stage. I think they just can't market. I think PSVR Gen 1 is a little hard to market in prime time right now. I think the games are really what's selling people on it. But, to Anakin's point, I wouldn't have mind seeing or wouldn't mind seeing in the future a No Man's Sky patch for PS5 with VR1, a Dreams patch for PS5 and stuff. I cannot wait. That's going to be some of the first stuff I can't wait to dive into once that gets upgraded, and hopefully it's, I'd imagine, hopefully it's a free upgrade. But there are several things I can't wait to see, and it doesn't have to be on the big stage for me. I think, I still want like Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village. I still believe those are going to get VR, but whether or not it's going to be PSVR 1 compatible or PSVR 2 when that comes out is still an unknown. We have a lot of unknown questions. Like I said, they haven't even shown the UI yet. Can we just start simple? Can we just dial it back and just show me the UI first? Which they did actually say they will be showing off some neat things soon with that.
Very excited for that.
It feels like a blog post to me. I think that's a PlayStation blog post. Yeah.
How do you see it though? Like, I mean, I could see a blog with
put a video in the blog post, and yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like something a little bit bigger would be in play. I mean, they spent so much time talking about the PlayStation 4 new features and in that UI and showing that you could play a game while it was downloading, which was a feature that really wasn't used as often as you'd expect. Share play. They showed off so many different things for PlayStation 4 in these big videos, and they showed friends like jumping on the couch together and being like, hey, pushing each other and doing all sorts of dumb friend things. But so they made such a big deal about it then that I can only assume they're gonna make a big deal about this, especially with how big streaming has become, because the share button was pretty cool, and I think it took a lot of people a while to realize, oh my god, I'm a YouTuber. I hit a button. I'm a YouTuber. Look at this. It's crazy. And then the flood of comments. So how come every time I stream I've got this fisheye lens with the black borders? It's like, that's nonstop.
Yeah.
But now we're getting a create button, and and we don't even know what the create button's all about. Obviously they're trying to say, hey, we took the share button, we're blowing it out of the water. We're trying to make everybody a YouTuber, and I think that you're going to be able to do a lot more with that button. And so I don't feel like that's a blog post kind of thing. I feel like that's a let's stop the presses and show people why they want this console kind of thing. Because, I mean, I don't know anybody who just plays games anymore. Everyone streams. Everyone. Does anybody just play games out there?
Yeah, no, I have a friend he only plays Apex Legends, and he doesn't stream.
Wow. He could have millions of subscribers.
Tony Hawk and Spelunky, and he liked both Tony Hawk and Spelunky.
Nice.
Beard of Power says, Beard of Power 666 says, will ray tracing be utilized in VR? I do believe there will be some form of ray tracing with VR games. I'm not sure the extent of it. Again, We haven't even seen what the create button does. But I did get a good look at the console. They did show more of the console. On the back of it, it's got two USB 2.0, which is pretty fast. Not as fast as Type C, but definitely faster than just regular Type A. But it looked like it was two USB 2.0 Type A's. And so that adapter that we're going to get for the camera will probably be some USB 2.0 adapter with some, I don't know, Swiss Army knife stuff.
Wherever we get it from and however we get it and whenever we get it, we all don't know the answers to that
Nope.
at the moment. But Brian, what are you giggling about? What's going on?
I'm just reading the chat. Everybody's like, I don't stream. I don't stream. I just play games. I was like, cool. This is great.
I know. I was like, yeah.
Not everybody's like you, Brian.
But Remy of the Game Cat with the €5 donation says, if the create button can let you stream a VR game flat, it will be good, but I never stream, so I don't care. Thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, I'm very curious to see. Obviously, I think there's going to be not only a better, I mean, if we can't output PSVR in 1080p 60, you know, and have custom borders and throw the chat up there on the screen and like do all the things that, you know, like you really need OBS for right now, I'd be absolutely shocked. I think that's what Sony's trying to do. Robbie B, the English Game Cat, with the €10 donation. Fuck you, You heard it here first, Robbie. Fuck you. He says, can we assume that existing games will look better and have a better frame rate in the headset when run through a PlayStation 5? Also, is it true that we will require an adapter for the PlayStation 5 to support the cam? Let's take the easy part of this first. The answer is yes.
I don't.
Yes, this is part two, obviously.
Yes, to part two.
Part one, you can assume that they would be if somebody updated them. But, like, for instance, like if I download an old Star Wars PC game from early 2000s and I get it on Steam, just because my computer kicks ass doesn't mean the graphics look better on the game. Nobody went back and remastered it. I mean, it's the same resolution. It runs as well as it can, like frame rate wise and stuff like that. But there are limitations in the source material. So I think games where people take the time and go back to optimize them and upgrade them, I think off the bat you'll see much
the
faster
PlayStation 4 Pro stuff.
But like,
yeah,
and
load times is what
load times are going to be huge. Yeah,
I'm interested. I think of all things, load times could possibly be instantly affected if we're lucky.
And that's one of the biggest immersion breakers in VR too. Like if you're sitting there staring, so many games have like an empty black void for a loading screen, or just like a floating image in front of you that's flat and it just looks stupid.
Yeah. Anything to
the
make
more
it
that
more
we can
immersive.
kill loading screens and you're just like in it, start to finish, seamless, frictionless experience. That's going to be a huge improvement, I think, for a lot of games in ways that we haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah, I think we should expect the PlayStation 5 to play the PlayStation 4 Pro versions of things for things that have been updated to the Pro. But as you guys see, if you're playing a game on PlayStation VR that doesn't have a Pro patch, well, it doesn't change anything. It still looks like the PlayStation 4 original version. The Pro didn't just automatically update it. So that's the exact same thing we're looking at with PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Faster load times, sure. But absolutely don't expect that everything's going to be super sampled or higher resolutions or faster frame rates, just because that's not the way things work.
Well, and also, even if they have an option like that, remember that on the PS4 Pro, that sometimes causes issues with VR. Like if you turn on its super sampling feature that it has, it causes issues. So like, there's nothing to say that turning on this upscaling for PS4 games is going to work in VR either.
X-Pacer X corrected me here. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say this, but yes, he is right, and I didn't even realize it. He says, AJ, the ports on the back are USB 3, not USB 2. The shape is Type A. They're also super speed, 10 gigabytes per second. That's right.
Nice.
I don't know why I thought it was 2.0. I meant to say 3. Because 3.0 has emerged within the last couple of years.
And just to clarify, because I know we've got lots of tips to take care of and lots more to talk about, but just to clarify before we move on, that camera issue, it's if you want to use your current PSVR camera that you're using on your PlayStation 4, Sony is saying that there's like this adapter that'll be available, right? But they haven't actually said how the adapter will be available. Like they didn't say, oh, you just go into GameStop and pick one up, or it will ship one in every single box of your PlayStation 5. They haven't made that clear. So there's one of the many things that Sony's not talking about, and this is kind of a big one, right? Because maybe we don't know about PlayStation 5 VR games yet, but we do day one at least want to plug in our PlayStation VR headset and not have to be like looking around for some adapter that may or may not be in the box.
Yeah, I really hope they just put it in the damn box. That would save everybody a lot of a headache. But
Yeah, spend $500, man. Give me the little dollar adapter. Let's do this thing.
We have a
Cha-chan.
$20 donation from Red Rover, the effing game cat. Says, AJ, that's me. He says, are you saying, as we know, there are known knowns, there are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. And back under my
I
rock.
think like Rumsfeld said that or something. I need to look that up. That's like a politician said that. I remember hearing that quote in a documentary.
Thank you so much, Joe Grover, for the awesome donation. Thank you, everybody, so far for the
$20,
awesome donations.
yeah.
We also want to give a shout out
donation
to...
cam.
That's
Let the donation lights going. You guys get the donation lights now.
Make sure I didn't miss one.
like-
Johnny Rypop, the Stray Cat, with the Canadian $4. Monopoly money. We appreciate your Monopoly money, sir. He says, hope all you cats get a PS5. Stay breathtaking. Yeah, I know. I've seen the comments, people who not getting a PlayStation 5. Man, there's... I mean, just keep an eye on everything. It sounds like some retailers might get a restock. Check your email. Make sure that Sony didn't email you, so you can get one on the PlayStation site specifically to get one directly from PlayStation. Those pre-orders are happening tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific, so 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. Eastern. And they're supposed to go till sometime Saturday. So Sony, I think, has the biggest stock in the world of these things. I don't think they just handed most of them out to retailers. So keep that in mind. Just because you didn't get one yet doesn't mean you're not going to get one.
There will be several more chances.
AJ, why don't you say this one?
You got cold yogurt with the $4.99 donation. Says, I stood in line outside of GameStop for 2 hours and luckily was the first 10 people to secure a PS5 during work time too. Very nice.
Get paid to do it.
So you
Love
went
it.
physically in person.
Hells
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so he said he waited for 2 hours and was one of the first 10, which
Yeah.
means how many people do you think were in line? Like
Jeremy
20
got
like,
one too. Jeremy secured one as well and said
By doing
that there
the
was
same
like,
thing.
Yeah, by doing the
he
same
went physically
thing.
to a GameStop store and
Yeah.
like
No,
said,
he went to the mall, but he went to a mall and went sprinting down the mall to grab one. And
You get the last
but
one. You get the last one.
Mako,
In the
yeah,
way.
really?
he did get the last one ever. Mako XL with the Canadian 2 donation and says thoughts on potential scalpers for PS5 and points to Dave.
I
Dave,
wanna-
you
he keeps
scalping PS5?
accusing me of scalping. I think it's because I made a comment in the Discord that the Walmart would let me order 2,
Oh, wow.
but I didn't. I just ordered 1 because I was like, I don't need a second one. And I don't have $1,000 laying around.
Stay
But,
away from those $900
it's like, I think
PS5s on
Ever
eBay.
since I said that, Mako keeps thinking that I'm flipping an extra one. But no, I only bought 1. Flippers be damned. Fuck all flippers. If you're in this community and you get an extra and you don't offer it to someone in our community who didn't get one, you suck. That's all I got to say. If you really, really need the money and scalping is your only way of getting by, fine, all right. But most scalpers are just morally
Go
bankrupt,
make wooden
ethically pieces of shit. And I hope none of you guys are like that.
Yeah,
So,
guys, just real
if you
quick
get
here.
an extra one, offer it to the community, please.
There's a huge conversation happening in the chat about the camera being in the box with the PlayStation 5. That is not seems to be the case.
It costs extra.
Yeah,
No,
like
it's
$60, I think. And so that's why we want an adapter, because the camera, we just want to use the camera we have. I don't know if I don't think we've gotten confirmation as to whether that PlayStation 5 camera will be PlayStation VR 1 compatible.
I think we did get confirmation that it was compatible. I don't think we've gotten any confirmation that it will enhance anything.
So it's okay, Dave.
You're
You're just fuzzy.
I thought Dave was giving me
I was
fucking
trying to get the
baseball
camera- I was trying to get the
signals or
camera to-
something. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Throw a slider? What do you want me to do?
Just trying to get the camera to focus on my face. I've seen people do it by like snapping in front of their face or just like tapping. I don't know. It's
All right, two more to get through real quick. K-Panic, the artist formerly known as Game Cat, with a $4.99 donation, says, "To sup, cats? Off topic. Game needing VR in name. Pirates VR.
Oh,
I don't think there's one like that. I wouldn't buy it anyways. Belramia with
I
the
would.
Game Cat with the €5 donation says, wish I could stay for Operencia talk, but I got to work tomorrow. Someone needs to stretch the earth Minecraft style to get rid of time zones.
Yeah, that would
I
be
didn't
great.
know you could do that in Minecraft. I guess I will know soon. What's up, Ryan from the VR Grid? Flat
Flat Earth, AJ.
Yeah.
Flat Earth.
But yeah, the HD camera is dual to 1080p lenses for gamers to broadcast themselves along with their epic gameplay moments. $59.99 Canadian, 79 and 59 euros.
Man,
Got a
next gen's
tip from-
expensive.
5,980 yen.
Next
Got a tip
gen's
from
so
Brian,
expensive.
VR Grid. We were just shouting out a second ago. $2 Canadian, which is what, like 50 cents? I think it's like 50 cents. He says, I would donate, but I'm broke after yesterday, as he donates. So a lot of contradictions going on there. But thank you, Ryan.
He's flexing.
Much appreciated.
He's secretly flexing
He's
and
secretly
showing us
flexing.
how
Dude,
wealthy he is.
If you
I'm so wealthy
enjoy
that I have $2 left over.
all those
after
box
this
cover,
PS5.
all
Yep.
those box quote cover extra
he
side
gets
money.
a 1 cent royalty from Perp Games every time they sell a copy that he's got his name on.
He's like
if
5 cents.
if you enjoy Ryan's contradictions, then go look at any PSVR game box out there.
Yeah, I think he said Squishies was good.
I think so. That's a contradiction.
Oh yeah, man. Sorry to everyone who didn't get the pre-order on time. That was definitely a mess up. I'm guessing the retailers shot early with that. They probably maybe tried to capitalize on the situation. But it is also on Sony for not having it part of that presentation, being like, oh, well, here's the price, here's the release date, and here's when pre-orders are going to happen. It was very unorganized. At the end of the day, guys, this is a big corporation, but one thing I have learned is that all corporations are still run by people. So you need to be aware of that and make sure you pay attention. And just remember,
I've heard corporations are people.
Yes,
They are.
That's
They
legally
are-
true.
In the
there
eyes
are
of the
lots
law.
of people that don't communicate within these companies. So always check your stuff. Every time I go to Home Depot or Lowe's, I always got to check my receipt and fix something that they priced wrong. Because damn it, it's so annoying, man. Every single time, it's like clockwork.
It sucks that Sony's
Okay.
taking the blame for this because at the end of the day, it's on
Not
retailers.
entirely. It is for this one, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it's on retailers to do the right thing. But if Sony had said, like you said, made an official statement to say, at the end of the presentation, these are going, pre-orders are going live tomorrow at noon Eastern, and just set a time and set it very specifically out there publicly, because it's not like these shipments show up at retailers and they just go, well, we'll just sell whenever the fuck we want. There are contractual obligations that they need to follow, and they will be they'll be fined or penalized for not following these these contractual obligations. So I think a lot of these people. I just really hope that there were systems in place and that the retailers decide to jump the gun, because you like to hope for the best. You like to think the best about Sony. You like to think the best about big corporations, even though they're big money hungry, faceless corporations, right? At the end of the day, that's all it is. But we all have a pretty strong attachment
honestly,
to Sony.
I think some of these pre-orders were honestly like speculation from retailers. Like, how many do we think we're gonna get? Because if Sony hadn't
That's a good
pulled the
point.
trigger yet and said like, "Hey guys, it's live, it's time to go," which is what I think they really did intend to do, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to message to us, "Hey guys, we will let you know ahead of time about the pre-order. Don't worry, unless they had some intention to actually do that somehow. But it seems like the retailers like Walmart and Target and stuff were just like, fuck it, you told us a price. We can assume how many of these we might get. Let's sell kind of within a certain margin. We'll say when we're sold out. And then if we talk to Sony, maybe we'll get some more. Those will be for sale again. But I think, honestly, some of these places were selling tickets for an imaginary item that they don't know for sure that they have. Like a lot of people have said Walmart in the past will do stuff like this and then cancel pre-orders, send out a wave of cancellations saying, hey,
that did
oops,
happen
we didn't
once,
really
yeah.
have it.
That sucks.
So I
remember that
think,
did happen.
luckily, I haven't gotten one or heard about Walmart doing that yet because I got mine through Walmart. But
I've only heard of like one or two instances of that. It's not an every.
Yeah.
It's not like
Well,
every time this happens.
this,
But you've
this
heard of it
could be one of
one
those
or two
cases where
times
like people
when it's a big deal.
overorder. Yeah.
At least once.
Hopefully that's not the case here. But people have a right to be concerned, I think, about stuff like that. And I've heard people saying they pre-ordered from multiple places if they could, just to be sure that at least one of the orders would
Right.
get fulfilled on launch day.
Yeah. I've never had an
so-
order canceled by Amazon, and so if that happens, that'll
Yeah,
be a
Amazon,
first.
I pretty much trust Amazon. I have had stuff that I've ordered where they shifted the release date, or like not the release date, but when it was going to get to me by like a month, and I was like, that sucks. But it wasn't a brand new game console, so I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, no,
man.
it's been kind of a clusterfuck. I think people expected something out of Sony, and like we all signed up for all these mailing lists, right? I signed up for the GameStop one, I signed up for the Best Buy one, I signed up for Sony's, and the only person I got an email from was Best Buy, and that was after I'd already pre-ordered one. And
Yeah.
by the time I looked at it, their site was a fucking dumpster fire. Like you couldn't even click the page; it was just like frozen.
Yeah.
And I think that's been happening to a lot of retailers on their PS5 pages. I'm curious to see if this breaks records for like a console launch. I don't know how many they're going to have available.
I think
I
that
don't know.
what will
I
determine
think-
it, right?
Yeah, that will determine it. I feel like people will buy almost every single one available.
Yeah. I don't know. Nintendo's had some pretty epic launches. I think the Switch launch was pretty insane. So they might
Yeah,
have some competition
yeah,
with
that's
that,
true.
especially with the price
Although
being so much lower.
Nintendo has a tendency to specifically manufacture scarcity in a way that has to affect their own sales numbers. Whereas Sony, I think they want to sell as many as they possibly can of these things. There's no reason for them to make them rare.
Right.
They want to get them out the door as many as they can. So Nintendo's always been kind of a boutique company, and they like doing shit like that. This Mario collection's only available until March of next year.
You mean
Why
ever
don't you
since the
suck my
GameCube?
dick? Yeah, like
Ever since the GameCube forced them to be a boutique corporation?
I guess so. Yeah.
Kate Panic, the artist formerly known as GameCat, with a $2 donation saying, Sony Lint Green is people.
Soylent Green. Sony Lint Green?
Sony Lint
Is that-
Green. Yeah, Sony Lint
Nice.
Green. Yep. Corporation. We're eating Sony employees.
Tell me when I'm on green. Is this green?
That's great.
Hell yeah, man.
But then you kind of
you know,
brown. Back up.
Despite not
Colorblind.
having any official news on how VR is going to work and stuff, guys, I'm really excited to enter this next chapter with you guys of covering 2 generations of consoles with VR. It's going to be exciting, man, because look at all the releases we have right now. It's going to be busy, man. It's going to be super busy.
I hate
It's gonna
September.
get more
September's
and more
bullshit.
busy.
So-
September has become busy
Dude.
as shit.
Every day I wake up and I have another email in my inbox saying, Brian, you're totally fucked this month. Like, that's all it is. Every single day, I like, oh, here's a press release from some fucking game that we were like, oh, I wonder when this is going to come out. Oh, it's coming out next week. Great. Right in the middle of the chaos when there's 7 games coming out over the course of 2 weeks.
Do you think this is like a Sony thing? Like that they coordinate this and they're like, we want 1 week where there's just like 90 games, and then we'll just let the rest of it sit.
No,
'Cause
there's no coordination here.
No, but
There's
we've had
hundreds
times
of
like this
people
before where
coordinating my mental
it's like-
breakdown.
Too many
when-
cooks in the kitchen.
There have been moments
Or-
in the
or
past
no
where
cooks.
we've run into these sort of like clusterfucks where just like all of a sudden 1 or 2 week span we get like 3 or 4 giant games and a few small ones. It's not the first time, but it is always unusual and makes me wonder like why did they do it like this? I mean, developers must be aware of other developers' release dates too, right? It seems like you wouldn't want to sandwich everything in together, but
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep, I don't know why you'd want to do all this stuff. The number of games. I mean, very infrequently do I say, "Oh, it's a good thing." A lot of VR games are pretty short, but I'm trying to blast my way through Operencia, which we'll be talking about pretty soon, and that is a really long game. It's a really long game for PlayStation VR, at least as far as those standards go. And I'm actually looking forward to games like Budget Cuts and other games that you can hopefully blast through fairly quickly, just because I just I don't know who's going to have time to play all these, and specifically, coming from a personal standpoint, I don't know who's going to have time to review all of these. Dennis, oh man, can someone help me with this name?
Smilgenic.
Smiljanich.
Smiljanuk. We're gonna
He could
$7
can
Canadian
tell us.
donation. Yeah, hopefully there's a pronunciation key somewhere. September equals announcement month. Sony, Microsoft, Apple,
yeah.
Tesla, etc.
Apparently.
Yeah,
That's
so
because holiday season's coming up and they want you to know what to buy
Yep.
or ask people to buy for you.
the
That's
great thing
whole
about
thing.
the great thing about not being a general overall gaming channel is that we get to ignore so many of these things. I can't even imagine dealing with all of this chaos right now.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to ignore all the new flat screen PS5 games because I still play everything. I bought Tony
test them
Hawk, I
out.
bought Spelunky, I bought like everything new that's come out.
Play some Astro's Playroom.
Yeah,
But I did get this for VR only, and I will say I usually would wait at least 1 year before buying a PlayStation console or just any console. I usually give it a year to let the games build up, to let the price go down, to let them get any maybe launch kinks ironed out. But for the sake of the channel, for the sake of providing information to you guys, I just feel obligated to do it. So I had to pick one up. So I'm really, really looking forward to covering lots of this stuff, everything from the UI in depth to the friends list. And, we'll do some stuff that of some features that you will be using with the PS5, and we'll make sure to have you guys covered on that as well. So you get a look at it as soon as we get our PS5s. We'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
We'll have 3 separate unboxing videos on launch day.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
All with our own spin on unboxing, because I'm sure we open boxes different ways, the 3 of us.
I'm interested to see.
Pretty careful.
Yeah.
I'm very gentle. I want to make sure that it looks the same after it's open as. Yeah, I had a feeling that'd be the case.
You guys
I'm like Wolverine, man.
My Accounting Plus unboxing, the special edition, I brought my big knife. That's always fun to have a big knife on a video. We got another.
Before we move on,
Genetic Blasphemy, $5 tip. And he says, PlayStation sent me an email saying that I qualified for a pre-order beginning at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and it includes a time-sensitive link. Thoughts?
Here's my thoughts.
Interesting.
It's weird.
I didn't get that email. I don't think a lot of people did. And I've heard that you can't even sign up to get those emails anymore. They said registration is closed now.
Yeah, I signed up for an email and didn't get one. So there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't. It was sort of like, I don't know what the criteria were. I assume it was random, but they kind of made it seem like if you were a hardcore, like you had bought a bunch of games, you might have a better chance. Like, the more of a player you were, they might, privilege you in some way. But apparently not.
Apparently
we've
not.
all got like 300 games on our console.
So I did get this email, and it says,
Oh,
congratulations,
really?
you've been
one
selected.
of the chosen ones.
And it says, we're pleased to extend this opportunity to be one of the first to pre-order a PS5 console. It's got pre-order reservation instructions. It's very strange. It's like starting at 10 p.m. Click the link below to enter the event. This URL is unique. Blah blah blah. It says when clicked, you will be placed in a waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
It says when it's your turn, you'll get access to complete your PS5 console pre-order registration. So basically, I don't know. It's really weird. They stick you in a dark room full of a bunch of other scared people that don't know what's going on.
This is a chance to have a chance to order pre.
It's basically the battle royale of pre-order launches.
They should just make everybody play Fall Guys for a little bit, and whoever wins a few rounds gets the PS5.
Gonna fight to the death.
If you don't lose in the first round, you're good.
Yeah, but I mean,
all right,
we are surrounded by PlayStation gamers all the time, like 24/7, right? That is our ecosystem, and I know so few people who got the email. It's like a handful. There's a few people in the chat saying they got it. AJ got it. I know Rody got it, and that's literally a handful of people. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who are super devoted to PlayStation who just didn't get it. It's like I would have loved to know what the real criteria was behind the scenes. If Genetic Blasphemy is actually asking for our thoughts on this, and also I'm excited for anyone who got it, but also very nervous for anyone who got it, saying, "Okay, I can stop looking for pre-orders now because I'm going to get one tomorrow through Sony themselves," and then they find out that 100,000 people are all waiting to get 50,000 units.
Well, the other thing too is Sony is not nearly as proven a storefront or a retailer as any of these other, like, this is the first big product sale that Sony directly is doing themselves. Usually you would go to Best Buy or Amazon or whatever to get a PlayStation, GameStop. You don't go to Sony to buy a PlayStation. No. And so that's a new concept. And if they botch the delivery or if they botch the pre-ordering, like, they're potentially setting themselves up for a huge shitstorm here.
Crazy backlash.
If it doesn't go well. Because, like, Best Buy and Amazon and Walmart, they know how to do these things. They've been doing them for years, decades. Like, big new electronics come out, you set up the pre-orders, all this. Sony, I hope they know what they're doing, but we'll see. Nobody knows yet, because I guess 1 p.m. tomorrow is when you dive into the secret room and see what the fuck's going on, yeah?
I think they're flying by the seat of their pants, Brian.
Seems a little bit like it.
That's all right, man. I think it's a very exciting time, and I think most times when things are exciting, nothing ever goes as planned. So, as we know here on Without Parole, firsthand, I think it's probably time to move on.
Shall we move on
from the PlayStation?
Right. We haven't talked about VR yet.
We have tons to talk about, including the top 10 most downloaded games from August, We're just going to be covering, let's see, the US and the EU are actually pretty similar. Just swap out a few in the order, but they're basically identical, which is kind of strange, actually. Is that kind of weird that
I
they're?
It's
didn't
never
think
been the case
Europeans' brains
before.
worked the same way that ours
There's,
did, and I thought they liked different things, and I thought they were all
I did too.
strange and
There's
like whole
literally
different race of people or something.
one difference
Green
in
blood?
the game, as well as but the order is exactly the same. But anyways, number 10, Doom VFR. Number 9, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim VR. Number 8, Marvel's Iron Man VR. Number 7, Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip making some noise. Number 6, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, still on this list. Number 5, Gorn has taken over. Number 4, Job Simulator. Number 3, Super Hot VR. Number 2, Beat Saber. And number 1 most downloaded PSVR game of last month is Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series.
Surprise!
Yeah,
not surprised.
I can always kind of tell.
Star Wars game. What do you expect?
I can always kind of tell how something's going to do when I look at the numbers of views on a review that I've made. Something like Saints and Sinners was doing really well and was doing really well for a long, steady amount of time. Vader Immortal did extremely well, better than Saints and Sinners as far as views went, but it also died out very quickly. I would be shocked if we saw Vader Immortal anywhere near the top on the following month's sales charts.
I think it was going to correspond to new headset sales because, I think most of the people who were going to buy Vader who've got a headset have bought it already, probably.
Yeah.
If not, then we could still see people filtering in over the holidays. They get a PSVR. What's the first game this 15-year-old kid wants to check out? Vader Immortal, obviously. He loves Star Wars. Okay, pop him in that. He's satisfied. He loves his Christmas. You did a great job as a parent. So I think that's going to happen a lot over the next few months. We'll see games kind of get a resurgence around the holidays. I expect it to stay in the top 10 for a while, probably.
I expect to see Gorn stay in the top 10 for a while. I feel like Gorn is one of those games like Drunken Bar Fight, like Job Simulator.
It's officially replaced Drunken Bar Fight, which would have been in that probably been in that spot instead.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. These are games that people have heard about. Even if you don't know anything about Gorn or Beat Saber, when you pick up a VR headset, when you go through the PlayStation store for the first time and you see all the PlayStation VR games, you recognize the name Gorn. You recognize the name Beat Saber. These are just things that have been ingrained in VR gamers' heads and even people who are even remotely interested in VR. And so I think they go, oh, it's for $20. I'll pick it up. I'll check it out. Sure. And yeah, reviews are all fairly positive. Of course they're going to do it.
Beat Saber has become this VR pop culture
fucking phenomenon, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty much everybody's heard of Beat Saber at this point, which is great. I hope to see more games have this kind of impact. It's something like Guitar Hero that it's just taking over in popularity. I think because it's easy it's fun and easy to begin with, and it just gets more and more fun the more you play it. And we actually have some amazing news about Beat Saber soon. But first, we did get some more. Vader Immortal was number 1 on the list this month, and that's made by ILMX Lab. I can finally say it after lots of practice in the mirror. And they are making Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge, which they actually showcased a little bit more info on the FB Connect, to the Facebook Connect conference that also happened yesterday. I think it was a strange time. I guess everybody was just like, let's just all announce everything because everyone's going to be searching about games today. Let's just do. But they just shared a little bit of more info on this game. And while it is mainly touted as like an Oculus game, so was Vader Immortal, and that event ended up coming to us. So I think it is possible that I think it is possible that this game makes its way to us as well.
Essentially. I mean, I was really skeptical about Vader. And, in the past, I told people, there's no way we're getting Vader. And then I was wrong, and I'm glad to be wrong in a case like that. Mm-hmm. But it surprised me in a way that Oculus was willing to give that up. to Sony, and I think that proves a lot. Although the thing is, like with Star Wars, they know they're going to get sales wherever they put that thing.
Right.
That's guaranteed sales.
Absolutely.
Another game, with not as established a fan base and stuff, maybe it's not as important to them to let other companies have a crack at it. Because it's not a guaranteed sale. Like nobody knows this versus Star Wars.
I mean, with things like, Death Stranding, even though Sony set Kojima up with his own studio and funded that game, that was still limited time exclusivity. So I'm assuming that this is the same thing with Oculus. Like Oculus is throwing money at Lucasfilm saying, let's do this, and then we get a limited time exclusivity, even though they're funding the entire project. So I could totally see that happening with Tales from the Galaxy Edge as well. But especially if the first deal worked out for them,
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, clearly, we'll see how much success it has in the long run. I'm still waiting on a Vader Immortal patch. I really want them to patch those little things out. I hope to God they fix that eventually.
So frustrating.
Because it's just so many little things that is otherwise a great experience, but they need to fix all those little things. But a little bit of info about this. So it will have the original voice actor for C-3PO. The game is going to be designed to where it jumps across, I believe, different timelines or different locations, something along those lines. And just like how you followed along with Darth Vader in Vader Immortal, this one's saying that this time you're going to be following along Master Yoda.
Oh boy! So, are we getting the impression that this is very much a similar type experience type thing? That's what it looks like from this trailer. It's
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but hopefully not episodic this time.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But it does say it's going to be broken up, like into sections. But I don't know. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll see. But it is going to be more about the experience and everything overall. Like I said, I don't care. Like I would love to have this, as long as it doesn't have the same issues as Vader Immortal. I can't accept that. This is a Star Wars game that should have plenty of money behind it, plenty of talent behind it. Lucasfilm, Disney, ILM, X Lab. That if you're huge Star Wars fans, you will fix Vader Immortal, and please don't let this happen to this one. But that being said, I still really enjoyed it overall, and I hope this one's good. I think we're all in the same boat that Squadrons is going to be.
That's the one to beat.
The real deal.
The game.
Yeah.
Speaking of Squadrons, guys, they have officially confirmed HOTAS support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness.
anyone who's inevitably going to ask in 5 seconds, what's a HOTAS? This
that
is a HOTAS. It is a hands-on
throttle and stick. Hands-on throttle and stick. It's a flight stick. You know what it is.
It's a flight stick.
I'm not sure getting it closer to the camera is helping anyone. It's just a big blurry
No.
mess.
Can you see it?
Find us Ryan's box quote on there.
Can you see it? That's a HOTAS. But
I hate to pat ourselves on the back too much, but can we just pat ourselves on the back and go,
away.
this was not a surprise. Like everyone's been freaking out saying it's not going to have HOTAS support. They confirmed it's not, blah blah blah, and we just kept saying it's not a big deal to get it in because it's already on the PC side. It's not a huge jump from a DualShock 4. It's just a quick modification. We talked to plenty of developers who were saying, yeah, of course, HOTAS support is really, really easy to implement. And for a big company like EA Motive, it's nothing. It's nothing. And so we're getting a day one patch, I believe, right, to make sure that this thing has HOTAS support when you get it in your grubby little fingers. And we're all super excited about that. That's a great thing.
And the people who were so concerned that it wouldn't were freaking out and saying, I'm not buying this because there's no HOTAS support and stuff like that.
Are you going to buy it now? Are you?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Already HOTAS supported on PC with the exact same peripheral that you're going to be using on PS4 anyways, which means, of course, it's a no-brainer. They could say, oh, yeah, sure, we'll have that. It wasn't a big endeavor.
I don't necessarily blame people. I mean, at the end of the day, these days you kind of do want like confirmation and stuff. It's just nice having the official confirmation. And who knows, possibly everybody freaking out is what led to them adding the HOTAS support. So
you got to be careful with stuff like that because like a lot of the time in a case like this, I think they probably like considered or were planning to have HOTAS support. in the game already, but just didn't specifically say, oh,
Right.
also specifically the PS4
True.
VR version
Yeah.
will support this HOTUS, because on PC, I think they did give a confirmation. And I think it was really just people reading too much into a slight miscommunication from a development team. And like, I don't think that the intention was ever to not support HOTUS on PS4.
Right.
And I think people
reached
just
out.
assumed that was the case. So.
When there was a question, I reached out and got an answer, and they said, "Yeah, it'll support it." And I said, "Sweet." So and I put that
Yeah,
message
that's what I
out
figured.
there, and then like a month later, somebody was like, "I reached out," and they said it won't have it, and everyone's like, "It's not going to have it," and I was like, "Okay, so two
Yeah.
different people on the customer support side of things said two different things." And that's all it was. Is like those people just were not informed the way they should have been.
Yeah, I think it was just miscommunication. And people love to pile on to that and read something into it and make a mountain out of a molehill, essentially, which I think that's what this was. But
I
we
will
can say
say-
confidently now, it
Yes.
has put a support.
Official.
Very
And
good.
I
Great.
will say, I do have a tiny bit of relief just hearing that, because everybody who went and bought a HOTUS on my recommendation,
Yeah.
I definitely breathed a little sigh of relief, even though I was like 100% sure it was going to happen. And thank you all for trusting me with your monies.
Red Rover sent Joe Grover right over there from GameCast says in the chat, "I'm not buying because of HOTUS." Oh shit, I'm not buying because of 3D Rudder.
There we go.
Came up with another excuse. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Virtue Theorist. Yeah, that is not Battlefront, but it is like the Battlefront mode. But yeah, man, first person
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's made by the
cockpit,
same, I mean,
TIE
EA.
fighter. Dude, I am so stoked for this game. Yeah, it is made by EA. You're right, the same as well. No microtransactions, however, yet. We'll see if that changes. But
Just to
full
clarify,
story mode.
wasn't the first one made by like Criterion or something like that?
Yeah,
It's
no, I
published
think
by EA.
I do think they're different developers, but
Sounds
same
right.
publisher. So
Just before the
Yeah,
chat
same
eats us alive.
didn't you guys know?
Why don't you know
Nice.
everything about
but-
everything?
You know,
Who's
story
dice?
single player mode where you play as the dark side, single player mode where you play as the rebels, and then of course the multiplayer mode, which looks amazing. VR support, full VR support for the whole game, 50 plus customizable weapons. Guys, we are only a few weeks away from this game.
Guys, okay, so Pacer is continuing the tradition here of people letting other people in the chat know when they're going to take a dump.
Or leaving
So
or
he's
coming back.
gonna
I love it.
$5 tip.
Just
He says, I'm
use-
going to go take a huge dump. See you cats later. As we always say in this scenario, of course you can just bring your phone to the toilet and keep watching. But if you don't like it, that's fine.
And you don't have to
Also-
tell us, or you can tell us. K-Panic, the artist formerly known as
Yes.
GameCat, it's $3 donation, says, but does it have hot ass support?
Hot ass support.
It does.
It depends. K-Panic, are you the one playing it?
Oh, you-
Because if
you
it does,
bet.
if you are, then it does. That didn't go as smoothly as I
Wow.
wanted it to.
Wow. Okay, so
Cannot wait.
HOTUS, apparently the HOTUS prices are going up right now because
I wouldn't doubt it.
Donatella says they're $130 used on Amazon, which is bonkers.
Used.
'Cause I think I paid $40 for 60, like a very reasonable sum
This just
it was
in.
on
I'm
sale.
selling my HOTUS.
for $200,000.
Yes. Be like, it's going on eBay soon. Make
can,
$100 profit off it.
Certificate of authenticity that says this is really covered in AJ sweat. And
You don't want that. Now, I will say, I don't know if there's going to be an advantage using the HOTUS. Definitely more fun. But, you know, some games like Starblood Arena, I was way better with the DualShock, but it didn't
the HOTUS
stop
is
me.
more fun, though. That's
Exactly.
the thing. It's more immersive. The thing that people don't
Very
realize about a HOTUS is, and I've said this anytime I review it or whenever it comes up, it doesn't make you better at the games. It actually makes you worse at first because you have to, like, what's the X button? I can't see the X button. It's like this little thing underneath the. You got to figure everything out. But then it's so much more immersive. It really feels like you're in that cockpit. So if you're
Yeah.
doing poorly, you don't care as much because you're like, I'm the one here doing poorly in real reality, virtual reality, whatever. Whereas with the DualShock, it's easier, but you're just kind of flicking knobs around.
Now, Ryan from the VR Grid says Empire or Rebels, PSVR
Ooh.
Underground, you noob.
You noob.
I honestly, I love X-Wings to death, and I'm usually on the good guy side. But I think I'm going to be rocking the TIE Fighter and terrorizing you
Ooh,
guys.
nice. Real quick,
So I think I'm going Empire.
Brian, sorry, we're getting a lot of chatter in the chat about the stream having trouble. Are you seeing that on your end? People are saying it's lagging or it's not coming through right.
I am also seeing the chat
Like-
saying that on my end, yes.
Well, are you seeing?
Nope.
Damn
I
it,
did see
Brian.
the stream buffer.
Damn it, Brian! I'm trying to fix things.
No,
Or ask you.
I am seeing the stream buffer a little bit.
Yeah.
People are saying you're lagging a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm saying OBS has a health meter, and so does YouTube, right? What did they say? Did they say
fine?
bad?
OBS is fine. Let me check YouTube. Neither one do I have control over, by the way.
I know, but you can check on it at least.
So let's see. Viewers are experiencing buffering, not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry to hear that, guys. Hopefully YouTube will get their shit together. And yeah,
Make your windows smaller.
yet another stream. Yet another stream that YouTube is making as amazing as it possibly could be. So we just have to move on, guys, because there's nothing we can do about that.
I hope it doesn't mess up what we're saying.
I apologize.
All right. So we got word. I got an email about Blaston, which is going to be coming to Oculus Quest first. However, the reason I wanted to mention it, this is a 1v1, like face-to-face bullet hell PvP game. Actually looks pretty fun. I don't know if it's my cup of tea, but it looks decent overall, but probably not going to generate a lot of interest from me. But the price on the Quest is going to be $10. So likely this game is going to end up being just $10. Blast on.
Interesting. That so just to clarify, right? Blast on, is this the multiplayer one? Sorry, I'm trying to do stuff behind the scenes as you're talking.
It is. Yeah, it is.
This is the kind of
It's a 1v1. It's a 1v1. You're standing like right in front of each other, right across from each other. The trailers make it look like you're just like right up close, but if it's bullet hell, you have to be able to kind of do something, right? So they also call it slow motion. So I guess you're in a bullet hell, but you have some help in terms of being able to slow down time or something.
Interesting.
So this is confirmed for PSVR. Is that the thing?
Yes.
It is confirmed for PSVR, but the release date and price is just on Quest so far.
Gotcha.
I just got an email from them, but yeah, it's going to be $10 for that.
You know what we need, guys?
They really missed a dodgeball reference here. The movie, they say continuously dodge, duck, and dive to evade incoming attacks, and they didn't even make a joke. They just kept going. Anyway, sorry, Brian. What were you going to say?
You know what we need on PlayStation VR and on consoles in general? More $10 games. I feel like we just had a conversation about $20 games and about how they run the gamut, and we never really know what to expect from a $20 game, because sometimes we get something like Crisis Brigade that feels a little bit on the shallow side, and sometimes we get a game like Immortal Legacy, which is, as we know, God's gift to VR players. So that was a joke. No one's going to agree with me on that one.
No one's hearing the jokes because the stream is doing very poorly right now.
I mean, we can stop
No
the show.
one's hearing any of this.
We can stop the show, or we can keep going. It's your call.
My call, personally.
I mean, guys,
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, Brian. I'm just saying this.
It looks
trying
like
to do something
it's
about
kind
it.
of setting out to me. I'm just making sure it's working fine. Yeah.
Run a speed test on your. Sometimes that gets your modem like kicking.
I mean, it seems fine right now. So let's just hold the line.
Hold the line.
It seems it's not buffering for me right now, so it should be fine. But yeah, is there anything else we want to add on this game? Because I'm not honestly crazy interested. But
No,
$10 games, AJ. $10 games. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My speed test is fine. Everything's good.
In other news, Rec Room has had a major update that they gave to us. Big shout out to Rec Room, the original Dreams with multiplayer. Crazy news, guys. You are not going to want to miss this. Because they have given us an update on several things, including they have expanded their platform to other Well, hold on. Let me back up here. This comes from Sean Whiting on Twitter, one of the guys from Against Gravity. I had the pleasure of meeting him. He's very, very nice gentleman, very good guy. And he says, update, the future of Rec Room. Over 3 million player-created rooms and games. Over 40 million room visits per month. 40 million room visits per month, 60 million friends made in Rec Room. I'm probably accounting for like 2 million of those. The amount of high fives is endless. Community size tripled since last year. But then he also goes on to say Rec Room used to be just a few games like Paintball, Quest. Now it's full of millions of players created games and worlds. The scale of those worlds and games is going to get even bigger because we're announcing a new terrain system as well as a new vehicles system. So they've got new terrain, new vehicles. They also go on to say that Rec Room is already available on iPhone, iPad, PS4, PSVR, Steam, Steam VR, Oculus, Oculus Quest, and now it's coming to Xbox as well as going to be completely cross-platform on that. So you can play this game on any device. It's absolutely free. This is incredible what they're doing, but that's not it, guys. There's one thing else. Actually, there's a couple more things, but this is where we're stopping here because I want to hear your guys' thoughts and give you a second to process some of that. When you publish your rooms/games, you instantly publish to hundreds of millions of devices. That's not what I meant to read. Coming soon. Get paid for your Rec Room creations. Fully support yourself as a creator. So, guys, they are giving you the opportunity to receive money for creating rooms. That is something that is truly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's people in our community that ought to get paid to make some of the rooms that they've made. Like if you could commission rooms from people and stuff, pay them $20, cook you up something, that'd be great. Ooh, Donatello, $10 tip. Hold on, that's a Tree Guy tip. And Donatello says, "Here's some money to help you buy YouTube."
Ooh,
Brian,
nice.
$10 towards buying YouTube.
Maybe if we buy YouTube, we can fix it.
Yeah, we can fix it.
That's exciting.
I know how to fix this stuff. I
We all know that money's going towards
the
that.
feed has stabilized. They say the feed has stabilized, so we're back.
Oh, I was just going to spend the next half hour snuggling with Tornado, but I guess.
Oh, well, sorry. I guess you can't.
Oh, bye, Tornado. She didn't want to hang out anyway. I was making her stay against her will. This place is so big. She can go anywhere she wants. It's like she's literally going to stand 5 feet away from me.
She loves you, Brian. AJ, did you mention vehicles?
I did mention vehicles and new terrain.
This is an exciting thing because the only vehicle I ever rode on was one that Just Incredible made. He cooked up a jet ski, and he had this river run where you could ride the jet ski and you could kind of bounce up and down if you wanted to, on the waves and stuff. And it was very cool.
When was this? Why haven't I not played this yet?
Oh, it was. He made a cabana kind of style, a little. It seemed like a little resort or somewhere you would hang out, a nice house, pool, and then in the back there was a river, and he somehow engineered jet skis. And my first thought when they said that they're adding vehicles was this is Justin's fault. They figured out what he was doing and they reverse engineered it. But I was really impressed the way that he did it, makeshifting it. So the fact that there's legitimate vehicles that you can actually use now, can we have roller coasters? Can we have a Jurassic Park Jeep ride? What are the possibilities? That adds a lot of new things that people can do. So I'm excited to see what people do with that.
Did they talk actual money, how much for certain things?
No specifics yet. I'm sure because it's not launched yet. So I'm sure once it launches, they will. But I definitely wanted to give a big shout out to Against Gravity and Rec Room for all that they've done. It's amazing free game.
Yeah.
It's I'm really happy to hear that they're doing this and supporting creators. I'm just curious what the deal's going to be, though, as far as financially goes, because I can't imagine them setting up some kind of structure where they're suddenly paying out to millions of gamers. Any amount of money, more than a couple dollars is whoa, that's suddenly millions and millions of dollars. People are going to just create whatever they can.
They could do something simpler, just leverage an existing system. We can link your PayPal to your account now. And so your PayPal is attached to your Rec Room account. And then they just have some integration with PayPal. People send you the money, whatever. It just gives them your PayPal link. That would be a really simple, easy way to do it, where they don't have to get too into the weeds. They don't have to take part of people's money out of their funds or whatever. I hope it's something like that, because I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if Rec Room's equipped to make payments to individuals. I think they'll just use an existing program like PayPal or something. Probably.
Be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to turn to creators overnight. Be how can I make money off of this thing?
I would love to see Dreams eventually implement this as well. Dreams really needs to learn a lot. Yeah. Oh wait, there was a rumor about it, but I think Dreams needs to study Rec Room. Like, we always talk about how games learning from other games by example. Dreams is amazing what it is, next level, but they really, really should take a look at Rec Room and see what they're doing with less and how far it can go. Really stable multiplayer,
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just playing with Tornado because she keeps getting into places she shouldn't. So all I can do is throw balls away from places where she shouldn't.
What this means to me is, AJ, you need to come up with some more exciting topics because Brian's not suitably engaged in the show.
I'm not. I'm distracted by cat toys.
Yeah, right now.
If you can distract me with cat toys, then
we need to get our host back on board with the show here. What's the next topic?
Next topic.
It's got to be really hot, really exciting.
It's funny. Something. It is exciting and really hot. Okay. It was only announced last Friday, I think, but believe it or not, it feels like it was like 2 weeks ago. But Until You Fall has an official release date of September 25th.
Fifth, even closer.
Yes, that does feel a long time ago when this was announced. We've also been hearing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've also been hearing. This has sort of been one of those things that they keep saying, "Oh, hey, it's coming to PlayStation VR." And it's like, "Oh, cool, that was an announcement." And then a couple months ago, during a state of play, they were like, "Oh, it's coming to PlayStation VR this fall." And then last week they were like, "It's coming to PlayStation VR the end of September." It's like just they keep giving us little bits. I'm like, you could have just told us like 3 months ago, it's coming the end of September. It would have been fine. But it's exciting nonetheless. Just adding to the plethora of games that we're going to be covering over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. And having played it, it's a good game. I like it. I think you'll like it. And it's the same people who made I Expect You to Die, which is
super
very polished, very well put together game. And if you like escape rooms, one of the best possible escape room games we've got. This is one of the best possible melee combat games we're going to have also, if it holds up to what I played on the PC version.
Now, speaking of which, so you've now played Swordsman, and you've played Until You Fall.
Played Swordsman Until You Fall,
and they're the same price, $20. Again, bringing up the $20 game conversation discussion about
Until You Fall is $20.
Yeah, on Steam at least.
I thought it was like 25 or something. I thought it was going to be 25 on PSVR, but I could be wrong.
So if these two games are the same price, tell me, as far as you're concerned, content wise, what are you thinking about this here?
Well, it's an interesting proposition because they have different kind of arcs of gameplay. So Until You Fall is a roguelike. It's a roguelike. So you go through, you first time through, you don't know what you're doing. You have weak weapons. You haven't leveled up. You die quickly. You get a little bit of stuff. You upgrade yourself next time. The standard roguelike, one of those ones where you actually have permanent upgrades in between, so you can level up your weapons and get new abilities and stuff like that. But as you go through each run, you also get these crystals that will either give you like a certain ability for that run only, or like a health boost or something like that. And Swordsman VR is nothing like that. It's more like arena based. So even the story mode is really just like a set of enemies in a certain area, and you just you can freely move around and strafe and stuff like that. I think the real differentiating factor between these two games is like the physics kind of part of it. Swordsman VR is focused on like, if you clunk a guy in the head, he's going to go like this, but if he puts his sword up in the way or his shield, your sword will kind of like knock off of it or be ineffectual. And like the physics of everything are very well thought out, and that's the kind of core of the gameplay. Indicator of where to block. Here's the big flashing indicator where to block. And then Swordsman's totally different presentation-wise. Also, this one's like a dark fantasy, which a really cool design sensibility. Like the art design of Until You Fall is so cool. And Swordsman has kind of a standard medieval-looking sort of, just like everything's kind of muted colors and kind of, it looks like a medieval sword fighting game. So I mean, they're so different. It's hard to say one versus the other. Content-wise, I feel like
that's great. That means you should be picking both of them up.
Probably so. I mean, yeah. If you like sword combat in VR, these are two of our best ones. They will be two of our best ones.
That's a genre we sorely needed more of.
Reports are good. Yeah,
needed more of these.
Golem wasn't cutting it, holding up the genre all by itself.
No. I mean, Golem's great, but nowhere near, satisfying. Be the one for every all games. But Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to both of them. My dude, the triangulator, is in the chat. He says, I have 16 hours
Ooh,
into
nice.
Until You Fall on PC.
Nice.
Hope it holds up. Me too. I
I
think
think
it's
it will, especially because in that one, the locomotion is mainly forward. So, like, most of the stages that you're in, it's a roguelike, it's randomized, but they're linear. You go straight. And so, like, having locomotion where you need a thumbstick or anything, you don't really need a thumbstick for this game at all. Um, so I think it'll work great.
That's
Swordsman
awesome.
VR, on the other hand, does kind of benefit from a thumbstick in a way where, like, your left hand can be used to block, and then you return with the right hand. But if I've got a shield here and I have to use the joystick style, turn backwards with the move or turn left with the move, I can't really hold it up the same way I would. You know what I mean?
That's
So I
understandable.
think of the two ports, probably there's more to lose in translation with Swordsman. Until You Fall, I can't really see there being like a bad port control wise or anything like that.
I'll be honest. I think Swordsman VR actually is going to have the more appeal here. I can't tell you which one I'm going to like more until I play both of them.
Right.
You
But
think, really? I mean,
I
it's more gorny. If that's like, it's got more of that silly. You can like. There's also these
yeah,
slow mo kills where you ragdoll a guy, and like, if you trigger the slow mo with a parry just right, you can hit a dude's legs, and he just like spins, and then you can knock him up in the air, and his body just like flies, and
yeah,
it's so
people love that
silly
kind of stuff.
and satisfying. Like, I was actually going to do a sizzle reel of just like the funny, silly, kind of entertaining kills I got in the game when I played the beta, because that is, like you said, people will love that stuff, the gorniness of it.
I love that Gorney is a word, and we all understand what it means.
Gorniness. Y'all feeling gorny?
But
Feeling
yeah,
very Gorney.
I think
Do I
they're
make you gorny, baby?
I
Do I?
think I
Oh,
think both are
behave.
going to be
Wow.
fantastic, man. I hope so, anyways. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people tell me that I'm going to love Until You Fall. It may be more technically, maybe an impressive game for certain reasons, but I just feel like Swordsman VR has that like mass appeal kind of to it.
Here's what I gotta say, AJ. Until You Fall is more metal
Whoa.
than Swordsman VR.
And we have
That's
a
what I like to
winner.
hear.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Like
this is so good that Swords of Gargantua got delayed because we get to
It
get
is.
these games out of
Well,
the
that
way.
game's gonna be disappointing compared to these two. I bet you.
Ooh.
I bet you.
Only the multiplayer. The multiplayer is the
The
selling
selling
point
point.
on Sword.
Agreed.
Gargantua.
K-Panic, the artist formerly known as GameCat, with a $5 donation, saying, shouldn't they change the name to Until You End of September?
Hey, zing.
I like it. It's got a
Fall
ring
like
to it.
season.
I mean, it's almost as good as Do I Make You Gorny? Almost. We're really classing this place up a little bit here. Yeah, until you autumn. I like some of the responses to that. Red Rover, send Joe Grover right over with a $5 donation. Say K-Panic or releasing Until You Fall 2020. I like the
Hey, there you
response
go.
tips. This is nice. This is
Yeah.
an interesting way to talk to each other in the chat. All right, so both of these games sound absolutely amazing. I'm
Yeah.
going to play both of them. I'm going to review both of them.
Yes.
My arms are going to be really fucking tired in the next couple weeks.
You know what else is amazing, Brian?
Pizza?
Dave?
Coffee?
Game Cats?
Game Cats are amazing.
Sniper Elite VR
Oh, yeah.
has finally shown its face again after a year of hearing practically nothing from them. We finally got a brand new trailer calling all World War II enthusiasts, people that love, classic war games and stuff. I sure do. I've always loved the sound of those grenades and stuff. But dude, they showed a new trailer for this. They showed some of the stealth mechanics, showed like some dual wielding weapons, dual pistols and stuff like that. Guys, this game is looking awesome. Did you see the trailer?
I did. I made a breaking news report about it because it looked pretty sexy. I am surprised to see non-two-handed weapons in it. I guess because I just pictured playing this game with the aim controller exclusively, and and I always think it's a little strange when you just have like a pistol or something that's one-handed while you're holding the aim controller. But I mean, other than that, holy crap! Like it's awesome because I played this game at PAX, the very last gaming convention ever the world will ever have. I got to go to that with Mikey Diaz, Mikey Sensei, and we played this, and it was a ton of fun. It looked beautiful in the headset. It felt great with the aim controller, and And to be able to
trying to turn off the power.
She is actually. I'm keeping an eye on her. Yeah, that's why I'm so distracted. Don't mind me at all. But that's but so to finally see new environments other than that small area that was just shown in that demo and in all the trailers. Really, it made me really happy to see. It's because I know how this game looks in the headset, and it looks great in the headset. And to know that I can kind of visualize what this is going to all feel like and look like. Good stuff. Very excited.
The funny thing for me is I'm getting more excited about this one. I had never played a Sniper Elite game previously, but the community, we've all been kind of playing some Zombie Army 4 lately, which is the same developers, and I think I've heard that it uses a lot of the same mechanics for the gunplay and certain scenes and stuff from Sniper Elite. And so I've been really enjoying that. And like, you know, some of the silly stuff like the kill cams where it like slow-mo zooms in and you follow the bullet and it like Mortal Kombat style blows the dude's nuts off or something like that. It's just like kind of well-made, entertaining stuff. And it's getting me more stoked to play Sniper Elite. But so what was the reveal that they had? Is more gameplay footage?
More gameplay footage, more environments. They showed gameplay that looks to be both using the Move controllers as well as aim controller gameplay.
Like that.
They've got, like with the Move controllers, they've got you manually loading the guns and cocking them back and stuff. Lots of variety in the environments it looks, and the lighting looks so good. The environments look really polished. The gameplay looks excellent. Looks like there's a lot of variety of gameplay between sniping, between action. You know, he's even throwing grenades and stuff. So it's not all just going from post to post sniping people. There is also a clip in this where they show one of those special shots, and it doesn't show the kill cam, but it shows the camera zooming into the person and then cuts away real quick. So that's what it's going to be like when you get those special shots, the nut shots. Prepare to shoot a lot of testicles.
I cannot imagine the feeling of like in VR riding the path of the bullet towards someone's nuts in slow mo. Like you see them coming up on you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going into the nuts, aren't I? I'm going to the nuts." And then it's just like that's got to be gruesome and entertaining.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. The kill cam was present and accounted for at PAX. So good, very good stuff. Looking forward to playing the full game, full campaign with the aim controller. We don't have nearly enough of those.
Did they say? Remind me. Is this got co-op?
I haven't heard. Yeah, I think it's single player, but it's supposed to be like a full story. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like anywhere from 5 to 6 hours long for the main story campaign, which for us is pretty decent length. But yeah, man, it just looks good. It's now coming to Quest as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if there's a difference in the footage. The footage pretty much looked the same, but at least what we see here looks really good.
Yeah, like I said, I played this on PSVR, right? And having played it on PSVR, I can tell you that none of these environments look even as good as the part that I played, which had guns blazing and missiles dropping and walls being destroyed in front of you. It was all scripted, of course, but like you're running around with stuff happening, and it looked great in the headset. None of this stuff really shows that kind of thing happening. So I can only imagine it's going to look as good as what we're seeing here. I've got no worry about this game whatsoever. I just want it to come out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I wish we knew something about when it was coming out, though. I
think 2021 is all.
I think Brian was right. I mean, you said 2020 originally. I think you're right, man. I think we could see this by the end of the year.
No, next year for sure.
Next year?
Next year?
I thought we got confirmation on that. My bad. But yeah, 2021 as far as I know. I'll try to get confirmation on that so we can be more accurate and shit. But yeah, I think it's early 2021 now.
Okay.
Apologies if I screw that up. I usually have my facts straight. Right now, I have no idea what's going on.
Well, just like I said, we've all been especially after seeing Medal of Honor, we've all been kind of like craving something like this, and I think I'm really excited to experience the story. Have our own little Medal of Honor game. Of course, that's multiplayer though. It's a little bit different, but. Love the look of this.
We need this. Every time I see a new game that I'm really excited for, it usually means we don't have anything like it, and we don't really have anything like this, which is great. I'm excited for single player campaigns. I'm excited for the realism this is going to bring, the excitement. Again, aim support. It's sniper rifles and aim support go hand in hand. It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
K-Panic, the artist formerly known as GameCat, with the $5 donation, saying, new IP, Rush of Blood and Truth or Dare, Devil May Cry Me a River VR. Can we say that one more time? Rush of Blood and Truth or Dare, Devil May Cry Me a River VR. That was a little more fluid than the first time.
I don't think that's a new IP. I think
That
that's...
sounds like Sony. What was that fighting game?
Sounds like 3 or 4...
Sony.
Not PlayStation
Battle
All-Stars.
Royale.
PlayStation
Battle
All
Royale.
Stars. Yeah, Battle Royale.
Yeah.
That was such a bust. Oh my god,
dude! If that had faster loading screens, I would have played the crap out of that. But it just got dragged down by loading screens so much.
You don't copy 90% of Super Smash Brothers and then change something. Actually, I didn't mind the battle.
Tried it again actually with there's a new game that came out like that with indie games like Hollow Knight and like Shovel Knight and like all those characters, like the dude from Dead Cells is in it. But it's like a Smash Bros with all indie game characters.
Not getting Cloud, not getting Crash Bandicoot and stuff was like, I was like, nah, screw this game.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have like half my favorite people. Although it did have Sir Daniel Fortescue, which was pretty cool, and Nathan Drake and Parappa the Rapper.
Did it have?
I like medieval, Brian.
Did it have Robbit from Jumping Flash?
No.
Instant fail.
Awesome.
Did it have Klonoa? Did it have Tomba? Where are my fucking characters from PlayStation 1? Huh? What's going on?
It didn't have virtually any famous Sony IPs. It did have Big Daddy, but that's like not even a Sony thing. That's just a game thing.
That didn't even launch first on PlayStation 3. We had to wait for BioShock. 360 had it for like a year, I think, before we got it.
Whose awful idea was that? Anyways. All right, so yeah, Sniper Elite. Cannot wait to see more. Love what I'm seeing here. Absolutely. But that's not all, man. This is an action-packed episode. We came to deliver because Beat Saber is getting a significant update. It's getting a new K-pop DLC.
I mean, that's what you want to talk about.
This I'm excited about. Actually, no, I'm excited about this. I want to talk about this because when we got that song, what is that song? Ain't nobody giving us down, 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 down. Pop Stars by KDA. That was immediately one of my favorite free Beat Saber songs. I just really enjoyed it. As a kid, I had friends who liked K-pop, and I was like sort of tangentially like I would see these groups. There was like HOT, was like this old Korean pop group, and it's crazy to me that it's such a popular thing now. Like the world loves K-pop all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, BTS is huge. I mean, people who don't follow what the kids are listening to or what Twitter's up to these days might not realize, but BTS is like massive. This is a really big get for them. And I think the music's going to fit really well with Beat Saber because it's got like K-pop has this weird blend of hip hop and electronic and pop and everything kind of thrown together. Like there'll be a rap verse and then a pop verse and then a big chorus and all this stuff. And it's just kind of like it checks a lot of boxes for different people. I think that's why it's such a popular genre. But this is going to be big. But that's not the only thing we're getting in Beat Saber, is it?
No, that's it. Guys. That's it. Get excited, guys.
Okay,
that's
BTS,
it.
guys.
Just BTS. We're getting some boy band that most people have...
so much. By the way, people are saying fuck K-pop. I approved your message, but what's wrong with K-pop? What did K-pop do to you, man?
Well, I mean, you want to know what K-pop did to me?
What did it do to you? Made you happy? You loved it?
Yeah, nothing but good shit,
great.
man. Nothing but smiles over here. I love the variety, man. I love the variety. It's just because it's not my preferred genre, I'm still gonna fucking buy it and play the crap out of it and end up. This is the important part. Loving like half of the songs that I play. I guess
probably that.
Like this is my only introduction to new music at this point in my life. I was like, I would have never listened to Imagine Dragons. Like the owner of the restaurant group I used to work for, his like 11-year-old daughter liked Imagine Dragons, and that's all I knew about Imagine Dragons. I was like, well, if she listens to Imagine Dragons, I'm probably not for me. And then there it is. I've got 12 songs, however many were in the pack, nonstop, man. Like in my face for a month. I'm trying to master these songs, and I ended up loving like pretty much every song in that track back. And so, I love being exposed to different music this way. Linkin Park was awesome.
I'll be honest with
you. Shit. The Triangulator, $20 donation, big spender in the chat. It says, tonight we're going to party like it's...
$19.99 donation.
Oh my God, I'm such a moron. I was like...
Did you not get that?
I don't get emojis. I don't read emojis.
Party like it's $19.99. 1990. Coffee.
So I'm gonna be honest here. This might come as a surprise.
Nope, not at all. Nothing you say surprises me anymore.
I hate K-pop, but I love K-pop stans. I will say that.
No, they've done a lot of good recently.
K-pop stans are amazing. They're entertaining. Yeah. They're lovely people. They're God's children. But K-pop music, I don't know. I just listened to this for the first time. I was supposed to listen to it a long time ago, and I forgot to. Definitely not my thing.
How far behind is the chat? Matthew Longo is talking about Klonoa. How far behind is the chat?
I don't know. When did we talk about Klonoa?
I brought it up during PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
He needs
they said earlier that we were way behind.
Yeah,
they said that. So
he needs to refresh because it was that's what happens when it lags out. It causes it to go behind.
All right.
But yeah, so guys, that was kind of a joke. I don't actually care about this, but congrats to all those that do. The important part of this update, an update coming, is Beat Saber is getting multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
Holy God almighty.
5-player multiplayer, too, which is not what I expected. I was thinking like a 1-on-1 or something. 5 people in one match. Yeah, I don't even know. What are the mechanics of a 5-person Beat Saber match?
Well, hold on a second. Hold on real quick. We didn't confirm this. This is not confirmed.
Yes, they've confirmed it. They've confirmed.
Where did they say that? Other than the trailer? Yeah?
They said this is coming.
No. They said 5-player. I know. Trust me.
Yes, it says 5-player. It totally says 5-player.
Nice.
I'll find it. I'll see if I have to find it. But
please do, because I was watching this trailer. I was looking for any confirmation. I was reading every single link that I was going through the Beat Games Twitter account. I was looking on their website. I was looking on the Oculus site, everywhere, and I couldn't find any confirmation. It shows 5 people playing, and if it's not 5-player multiplayer, then they obviously screwed up.
They really messed up the messaging.
Right. Like that's all they really showed us.
Okay, Brian.
Thank you.
Upload to VR. I'm reading the article right now.
You can't trust those guys. You can't trust those guys. No, please tell me. I'm sorry.
It says Beat Saber 5-player multiplayer is finally coming in October. It launches the same day as the Quest 2, which makes a lot of sense. They want to push that, obviously. And I don't know that we get it on the same date. I'm not sure that we get it exactly the same date.
We probably won't. They did. The one thing I did see on Twitter was that they apologized to PSVR owners in advance and said we're trying October 13th. It very well could get delayed until later.
Well, I mean, they have a big financial impetus here to get it out on Quest 2 on the 13th, obviously, because they're owned by Facebook. They're they want them to get it out on their new console.
I don't even think that's it, though. I bet you it's
no, dude.
The certification process and everything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you can launch a huge update like this to Beat Saber the same day that your new headset comes out, you're capitalizing on the moment. And that's what they're trying to do. And so I think that they probably focus more resources on the Quest launch of multiplayer because it makes sense. PSVR is going to slip. It's not their number one priority. So...
All right, so now we have 5-player confirmation. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, and thank you, Tupload. We make fun of you constantly, but for good reason. So, how is this going to work? Do you guys think it's literally just going to be 5 people in a row? We're going to when the game starts, we're going to look down and see sprint vector all of our friends at the starting line, and we're all going to be just doing this in unison, and that's it. We're just trying to beat each other's score, or is there more to it than this?
I hope not. I hope there's more to it. And what I'm picturing is kind of a classic example of how do you take a single-player game and make it multiplayer is Tetris.
Thank you.
I was hoping you were going to say Mario.
Exactly. Tetris. These games where
Dr. Mario, sorry.
Doing well causes some obstacle for your opponents,
right.
And then they can return that obstacle back to you with a little stank on it if they deal with it properly.
With
you know what I mean?
A little stank on it.
No, that's how it works in Tetris.
No,
if you send somebody a bunch of lines and they have a piece that goes right there, they send it right back at your ass. And it's 1-2 punch. So I hope that that's something like that, where your gameplay interacts with other people's gameplay and there's new, say, for instance, if I get a really good run, maybe a bunch of mines pop up where they aren't even usually
they have to
in
dodge
the song.
And stuff, yeah,
that you got to get around that makes it harder for you. But say you do properly get through that, there's a glowing block at the end that you hit that sends something over to me. You know what I mean? Obstacles, any kind of modifiers that mess with other people would be super duper cool. I would love that. I hope it's not just a regular score challenge, because like we can look at leaderboards in our own time, like that. We don't need to be together online to do that.
Right.
So,
well,
I
it
hope
does
they
look
do
like
something cool with it.
So from what I've observed, it does look like you'll be sitting like side by side in this. I think that's the whole point of showing them side by side, unless that's just so you're going to have avatars to choose from. So obviously you're going to be able to see who you're playing against to some degree. Even if this is kind of basic at the beginning, this still opens up Beat Saber for tons of modes. Imagine the different like modes you can add to this and modify and things like that. This is huge. And fun fact, I remember 2 years ago around this time, Jan Stravowski. I don't know his full name. I apologize. But I remember him saying multiplayer coming soon in like September, October of 2018. He was like, we're going to have it done by December. So I'm hoping this 2-year span has been them making this awesome system for the game. I imagine they've been tied up with other things as well. But again, even if it's, I would love exactly what Dave's talking about, how it makes stuff like, come at you for being successful, makes it harder for your opponents and stuff, or you like elimination, like, you try to eliminate each other.
Yeah.
One thing Nick mentioned in the chat, which I think is a really good idea that I wasn't even thinking of, but they can leverage existing modifiers that you can use in single player as those things. Like Nick says, you could send someone
arrows.
Ghost notes.
Yes.
Like enforce Ghost notes on somebody else. So they could take all the stuff that's in there and just tweak it to be like a thing you deploy against somebody else, Mario Kart style, which would be so cool.
Boy, Nick's really earning his keep today. I like this.
Yeah. Good job, Nick. That's a great idea.
Guys, just before we get too backed up.
Three tips.
Thank you. Cape Panic, the artist.
One?
Why don't you take... All right. The first one comes from Cape Panic, the artist formerly known as GameCat, with the $2 donation saying, Gangnam style Beat Saber track pack, ?
Gundam style.
Yeah. So yes, maybe? No? I don't know. That would be cool.
It was a popular song. It's not as popular these days.
I mean, extremely popular, but of course,
neither was Linkin Park. Linkin Park hasn't been
Linkin Park's always popular.
Occasionally late to the party.
5 more from Donatello the Scientist GameCat, who, and I want to pronounce this properly, says, Lordy, Lordy, AJ likes K-pop.
Loudy? He was talking to me.
Lordy.
I was telling him earlier, he was telling me how much he loves when I say loudy.
Lordy.
I stole that from my guild in WoW a long time ago.
You stole that from every southern woman in your town.
Did you want to take this last one? It's directed at you.
I got this last one, and no, I don't like K-pop. I said I don't like K-pop. I said I like K-pop stands.
You also don't like puzzle games, but
I don't like puzzle games.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Despite what you and Twitcher says, oh, that's great. AJ, Beat Saber and puzzle games. Now he's in heaven. No, I won't be.
This is why I'm glad we got Twitcher back in the chat. This is good.
Red Rover, the effing game cat with a $5 donation, says K-pop is the Dark Souls of metal. That's why AJ likes it. Why is everybody saying I like?
This
K-pop?
is my new favorite inside joke. Is that you like K-pop?
No, why? This is awful.
AJ
How
loves
did this happen?
K-pop.
How has this happened?
It's way funnier than you liking puzzle games. That's for sure.
The game cats have forsaken me. Give me some metal. Angel Crypt. I want the Angel Crypt DLC pack.
They may have forsaken you, but man, they've got my back. I just love teasing you more than anything else in the world. Yeah, dude, I am so excited. I've already got people on Twitter, Minecraft Tiger out there. I saw you, shouting me out on the Beat Saber Twitter account, saying he wants to do a 1v1. Like, that's cool, man. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, Beat Saber is one of my most played games of the year, and now this is going to absolutely continue it. Squadrons doesn't stand a chance against Beat Saber as my most played game of the year, maybe even my most played game of next year now. As much as I love, Squadrons going to be awesome, Beat Saber multiplayer, this is something I feel like we talked about a lot and said, how could this work? Would it work? Interesting. We talked about even sending blocks back and forth to each other, all sorts of different ways this could work, but I never actually thought it would come. And now that it's sort of like a dream come true, honestly.
Yeah, I hope it is as fun as it sounds. The last thing I want to say about this is I was always wondering to myself, what could differentiate a Beat Saber 2 from a Beat Saber 1? Like a sequel. If they ever said, hey, it's a sequel, what would it take? And I thought multiplayer would be one of those things that they would hold off and like, here's a new game, a sequel, same kind of thing, but we did some tweaks, we added some stuff, and sell it to you again.
Yeah.
The fact they're giving us this for free, and they've given us 90-degree modes for free and all this other stuff, it's pretty impressive. I'm glad. People say up front, it's not worth the $30 for these songs you get and stuff like that. But really,
Craziness.
Beat Saber is a great value and has only become a better value as time goes on.
It's evolved non-stop.
Oh shit, Jello Boy, what?
That jiggly gamer cat with the $10 donation saying, can we enjoy that? It looks like we will have some customization in Beat Saber multiplayer. I want to see more on that soon. Much love and many meows. You three and Game Cats.
Customization as in like the avatar customization. I mean, you see people with different wigs, hats, you see like different things. So
yeah,
I'm sure that's what he means.
I'm super excited to have my own avatar in Beat Saber. I'm super excited to be playing against you guys. I can't wait to see what the multiplayer mode customizations will be like. I mean, even if it's like, here's the thing, like if it's one mode, like Dave, I think you kind of hinted at this. Even if it's one mode at launch and doesn't have like a ton of variety to it, these are guys that have proven that they are committed to their game, that they just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And I feel like even if it's one mode at launch, we'll get plenty more after that. So I can't wait, man. I'm very, very excited. It's probably one of my most anticipated games of the year now.
My favorite comment of the night from the chat is from Perfected Insanity, and he says, "Wait till the zing of K-pop comes along. AJ gonna learn some dance routines."
The zing of K-pop.
The cats are going hard.
Because he doesn't like puzzle games, but he liked to zing. So
they're going in on me hard, dude. It's ridiculous.
You just
everyone's
wait till
also accusing you of
talk.
loving Baby Metal, which is not even a K-pop band.
I've heard of Baby Metal. I thought that was hilarious. I actually don't know how I ran into them, but I think I was trying to educate myself and broaden my horizons of musical knowledge, and I ran into Baby Metal, and I was like, dear God, this is insane.
I would have assumed that was a genre. I didn't know that was a band.
Oh yeah, it's like these really cutesy, like anime style Japanese girls, schoolgirls playing like fucking hardcore.
There's like heavy metal. There's like heavy metal in the background, but they're like lollipop, 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 and then they'll just be like, ooh.
Geisen says that Baby Metal is pretty legit. I didn't think the hybrid would work, but it did, and I trust Geisen implicitly.
They're hugely popular.
You trust Geisen. They are very, very big.
Nice.
Brian?
No.
Okay, then.
Brian is no longer here.
I'll do it. What do you want?
Brian.
Only Zool.
In his place, only Belramio.
we heard of a game, another September release coming out today. I'm sorry. We heard of it today. It's not coming out today. God damn it.
That would be exciting.
Brian, there's a game coming on September 24th. Can you tell us about it?
I mean,
do you know what it is?
I'm trying to bring up the trailer. Are we talking about On Shape / O Shape?
Oh, yo.
Okay.
You know I want to love you.
And first of all, before we even talk about this game, I want to clarify something that everybody everybody in the comments of when I put this in a breaking news report, or I guess it was this week, was like, the trailer says it's On Shape, and you kept saying O Shape. You screwed up.
They changed the name on us.
Right? How dare they change the name and don't make a brand new trailer? But that's exactly what they did. I think they ran into some copyright issues, and so it is now called O Shape, despite the fact that it says On Shape in every single trailer and on PSVR this week. Just FYI, I don't know how I feel about the new name. I'm not sure how I felt about the old name. Doesn't matter. It looks like a really fun game. And it's coming out, oh my God, this month. I'm sad. I've never been sad that there's so many games coming out at the same time. Like, I'm not even gonna have time to enjoy any of these. Yeah, you.
And with these ones, I can't even be like, oh, they didn't send me a code, I won't do it, because they're already sending me codes, and I didn't even ask. Like the On-Shape people are hitting me up, and I'm like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's gonna be a rough week or two.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely
insane. Guys, real quick, anybody who's a big gamer out there, I just got an email from Google Stadia. This is big news for Google Stadia if you guys are Stadia fans. It says Uno is now on Stadia. Play anytime, anywhere, instantly. So if you love Uno,
holy shit.
This is yet another reason to sign up for Stadia. Because
pre-order canceled.
Anywhere.
Seriously.
Now.
I don't even know where to go with that.
But also, what I do want to call out in the chat is Wargarble says PlayStation 5 pre-orders available at Walmart at 9 p.m. Eastern, according to Twitter. So that'll probably be right as the show's ending, I assume. Unless we actually get it done in less than 3 hours tonight, which would be incredible.
That is the plan, my friend. That is the plan. It's been a long day, and it's just going to get longer when this is over.
And now AJ's gone, so we can just skip all the news stuff, right?
Yeah, what do you want to
talk
about?
Operencia now.
We just talk
about Operencia.
You want to talk about K-pop for an hour? Put my feet up?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Now
you want me to talk about K-pop for an hour?
I mean, whatever, man. As long as I can put my feet up and chill.
K-pop stuff.
AJ's the only one keeping us on track around here, so let's just talk about whatever we want. You want to talk about Resident Evil games? That's all I ever want to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah. Dude, Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation 1 fucking still holds up. It's good. It's really good stuff.
I love watching the chat catch up. Who's like, who even has Stadia? Stadia, just stop. And it's like they hadn't gotten to the joke part of it yet.
It's all right. We'll get there.
And then they got to the joke. Yeah.
It's okay. We lose people every single stream, and then they come back eventually. Yeah, that wasn't serious.
I like this relaxed stance you're taking here, and I kind of want to join you.
Yeah.
Let's just lean back and have it kind of get close.
Fireside chat.
Fireside chat.
Here we go.
Fireside chat. Oh, I can change this to be more of a red tone.
Yeah.
Get the fireside chat. I mean, what do you guys want to talk about in the chat?
I wish I still smoked cigarettes.
You know what I want to talk
about? Right
about?
now, this would be perfect. Just like to put my feet up, have a cigarette, a little bit of coffee.
Fireside chat. Yep. What I want to bring up, actually, we didn't mention this earlier when AJ was here, but everyone is speculating that he's bald under that cap. And they really want to see his hair. There's like a big movement here. I feel like we're starting to get change.org petitions to see AJ's hair.
I have pictures. And, should we blackmail?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
let's put him in the Discord.
Yeah. Also, since we're kind of razzing AJ while he's not here, I'm going to razz myself a little bit. And
razz everybody.
And say that yesterday, before the PlayStation 5 event, I was trying to get ready for the PlayStation 5 event. And I was like, oh my god, my hair is out of control. I haven't had a haircut forever.
Oh, really?
I grabbed my clippers.
Your hair's out of control?
I put a little attachment on it, and I was just like, let's just take it down a level here. And the clippers broke mid haircut.
Oh no.
And it was a disaster. Like I couldn't fix it. And so I ordered new clippers from Amazon, and it's all super short again. It's all super short. I just went today before the stream and was like, I just took it all super far down, and I hate not having hair. So I'm patiently waiting for it to grow back now that I've rectified the mistake. And dude, new clippers are amazing.
Incredible.
I can't believe I've been dealing with the old ones for so long. I've had them for like 14 years or something.
They include all this cleaning shit with the clippers, right? When you get
oils and everything.
You ever use that stuff?
No, but it still lasted 14 years.
Well, it's supposed to keep it lasting for 14 years, but then if you don't use it and you get a new one in like 3 or 4 years, you're like, wow, this thing's cool. This thing kicks ass. If you'd cleaned it every time like you're supposed to, this is the story of my life essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, guys, I feel like this is giving me like East Coast vibes, West Coast vibes, West Coast vibes, West Coast vibes.
What?
The sky is see in the chat. Dave's room looking like California right now.
Oh wow.
It is very red over there. I don't know if you've seen.
Definitely.
Anyways, where the hell did AJ go? Let's continue without him.
We just want to thank all of our Patreon supporters for another episode of The Litter Box. This is Dave Station and Brian Paul calling it a day. Thank you all. Can't do this without you. All that stuff. See what happens when you walk away, AJ? The ship starts sinking.
Terrible thing.
Dude, now that you're back, we got to start
my room's
buckets.
Red, AJ. It was blue before. Now it's fucking red. It's all your fault.
I got to start with
it's all
tossing
red.
the water
It
out of the
turned
boat.
red. I love it.
It's a shit show in here now.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Summon the Dark Lord.
We don't know what to do without you.
It is. So I was going to say real quick, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was shown at the event yesterday. However, unfortunately, close your ears, Hunter, the FNAF fan. It is confirmed to be a non-VR version, but I am optimistic yet again that this will eventually be a VR version in the future.
Yeah.
Just not for now. And I think they absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, I still heard that spoiler because if you cover your ears with earbuds in, you still hear.
Also, sales-wise, The Walking Dead Onslaught. One thing I didn't mention last week, the pre-orders are up, which we did mention. However, I didn't realize that it has a discount. So I wanted to just throw this out there that Walking Dead Onslaught is actually $26.99 with plus to pre-order with the discount. I know we have
price $26.99. Really?
Yeah, which has me honestly a little concerned because like
it's only a $30 game to begin with, so it's $4 off or whatever. And yeah, I mean Servios makes a specific type of game, and they make kind of arcade games, and this one just seems slightly deeper than the stuff we've been getting. Hopefully this will err on the side of like raw data content rather than Battle Wake content.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so, yes.
Yeah.
Raw data was $40 though.
That's true. That's very true. But none of their games since have been $40.
Yeah, it also got the multiplayer stripped out of it, just as
yeah.
But Arsalan Ali, hello. You can buy it from the PlayStation Store. It is available on the PlayStation Store digital. There is a physical version as well, but I don't know if the physical version has the discount like the digital does. But just a heads up for something that I missed last week. But guys, it is finally time. I'm so excited. It is time to talk about the game that came out this week, Operencia, The Stolen Son. I cannot wait to get into this. There's so many things to talk about with this game. Brian.
Hi.
Can you tell us what Operencia, The Stolen Son is?
Yeah, I mean it's basically a classic dungeon crawler that has a lot of the tropes of a classic dungeon crawler, a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows. We'll get into all of that in a minute.
Doesn't know what a classic dungeon crawler is, real quick. It's a grid-based RPG. The cat is attacking Brian. So yeah, the way this works is you've got a map, and as you go through, you reveal portions of the map, but it's all on a grid. And so you kind of have free locomotion, but you're locked to this grid movement. And also it's turn-based RPG, very Dungeons and Dragons style, like agility, defense, strength, all this certain statistic upgrades, stuff like that. But yeah, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is, like surface level stuff. It is. I mean, they really do infuse quite a story into it. I am not quite halfway through, so I don't want to talk about where the story goes or how it gets there or really my final thoughts on it. But I will say my impressions of the story are that it's functional and that the characters are okay and the voice acting is all right. But then she is out of control today. I'm sorry. But
you named it Tornado, man.
I mean, she's living up to it big time for sure.
Yeah.
But I think while we're on the story note here, I think my biggest issue is that every time you go to a campfire to either rest or save your game, they just dump this story on you.
They start talking so much.
Right.
Yeah. You want to rest or you want to save your game, and it's like they want to convey some of the story dialogue right there. And it's like, no, I need to save like right now. Like my health is low. I'm about to die.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to come up and run into me and then fight it and then die.
You can't get in a fight when you're at the rest spot though, can you?
Well, there's some enemies that are sometimes kind of near one.
It just seems like too much is what I'm saying, though. It's like, yeah, that is, the focus. Like, I want to make sure that I've got my health and everything recovered. I want to make sure I want to mess with my stats. I want to upgrade the people or whatever. But it just seems like a lot all at once. There's a little bit of story that happens as you're going through, and characters do talk to each other here and there. But I just feel like if they had implemented all of this a little bit better, where characters were talking as you were exploring, then it wouldn't have felt like such an info dump where you're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to, every time I go back to the campfire, I'm just going to put my controller down for a couple minutes. Like I get up and I go make coffee, I refill my coffee. Like I'm constantly doing stuff the second I get to the campfire because I don't tune out because I am trying to stay interested in it, but they're trying their hardest to make me not interested in it. So it's this battle that's constantly raging over here.
I don't even think that it's specifically the fact that it's confined to those rest points, although that is where it seems the most annoying because you get the most of it at once.
Yeah.
But the delivery of the dialogue in general, it's like if you're in VR, you don't really want to see sprites and hear disembodied voices. Like there are times in this game, story-wise, when I go into a room and the dialogue says to me, there's a person in the corner. They're talking to you. There's not a person in the room in VR.
Right.
It's an empty room. I'm not in it. Nobody's in it unless they're a bad guy. And so these kind of disconnects a little bit, kind of kill the immersion for me now and then, where it's like, okay, I want to be invested in the story. I love the environments. The combat is moderately satisfying. It's serviceable for an RPG. It's pretty good. But like those moments when you're getting the story, nobody wants to sit in VR and listen to a disembodied voice and look at a non-animated sprite. I mean, these are just static images that you're looking at while the dialogue goes.
Yeah.
And, nothing against the voice actors. They did their best. They sound fine. They often remind me of the voice actors who do, like, the Zen pinball tables. They've got that same kind of delivery because they work for the same company, I assume. But
it's the same
I don't know.
people.
There's just...
So
it's the same company. So, I don't know. The story isn't the strongest point. And I think the dialogue and all that delivery was my least favorite part of the game. I liked when I was wandering around, exploring, looking through new caves, like expanding my map, checking every spot. That kind of stuff was fun and immersive.
Let's take this down bullet point by bullet point. AJ, where are you at with the story at this point?
So funny enough, real quick, Cillian says, was this game designed from the scratch with VR? I don't think so. Funny enough, actually, they said that this game was originally designed as a VR game. Yeah. And, story-wise, this game, Zen Studios, is based out of Hungary. They have an office in New York in the U.S. for their U.S. Relations. However, Zen Studios is based out of Hungary. So a lot of the story is told from Hungarian folktale is what it's inspired from. And I think it's cool. I think it's, some of the characters are okay. The voice acting is as good as it can be, probably. Some of the stuff is cheesy, but I'm not playing this game for the story. And I will say there's a couple things with this game. It's not the most VR game. Like, a lot of people want, move controllers. They want interactive menus. They want stuff they can grab, pick up, and throw. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Brian. They want to be immersed in every way possible. And I do think that is what makes the best PSVR games is the amount of immersion and fun and everything. However, man, this game does have some it does seem like they started it as VR, and then they were like, I don't know what happened, but at some point they were like, we need to just make this as is. And then they had to go back and convert it back to VR. And the result is that some of the scaling is a little off. Like some things seem big, some things seem small. It's a little wonky here and there graphically. That being said, guys, I'm 12 hours in and I am absolutely addicted to this game, and I love this game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so the first hour or so didn't hook me. I was sort of like not looking forward to playing more of it, and I'll go into why later. But the issues that I had sort of faded away once I got invested in the game. So like 2 or 3 hours in, I was starting to feel hooked. Like, oh damn, I need to go to bed, but I don't want to. I want to keep playing this. So if you give it some time, like even if it doesn't initially click with you, if this is a genre you like, give it some time, like let it settle in, and I think you will kind of sink into it and enjoy it more. It's not immediately gonna wow you with the VR port or the implementation here. Like AJ said, the scaling is off on some stuff. There's a decent amount of blur, and I think that the way that they implemented the UI and the combat system and the menus and stuff is not ideal. Really, like in combat,
I think to some degree.
Let me explain what I mean. So in combat, the UI is a flat pane of 2D stuff, and it just exists here, but it's kind of outside of your view. You have to look left and right to keep an eye on the whole thing. And so you'll be looking at an enemy, and it's his turn to attack. But unless you zoom your head over here to the top right, you can't see who he hit, how much damage he did, anything like that. You're constantly darting your head back and forth to keep an eye on the UI itself instead of focusing on the action in front of you. Like,
right. What character am I playing as right now? Yeah.
The thing is, like, your own characters aren't represented on the battlefield, which is one thing. But, like, if I have to look in the corner to see what's going on up here on a UI bar, and I don't see the guy attacking me with a cool animation in VR, like throwing something at me, I'm missing out on the VR-ness of it. Like, I don't get that. Oh, cool, I'm looking at the guy who's attacking me. He just attacked me. It's coming right at my face. Oh, God, that moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm staring in the corner over here. So I think the UI needs to be adjusted. And that's kind of the thing that was my main issue at first.
It's interesting. I know you are very, and I mean this in a good way, Dave, but you are very picky about menus and UI.
I'm not the only dude. I am not by any means the only person.
You're not the only one. You're absolutely not the only one. I know, and I didn't say that. And I said it's not actually a bad thing. It's just, for me, my experience with this game, that is just not something that I even noticed personally.
Well, listen,
like if you were the one implementing this in VR, is that what you would have chosen? Like, think about that. Would you have done it that way? Would you have implemented the UI that way in the combat? I don't think you would have. And if you think about it, it's just not well thought out in how it's presented in VR, the combat stuff.
I mean, on top of it, I didn't think it was well done. I didn't think that it was well done in the non-VR version. I played the non-VR version for hours and hours and hours leading up to this, and I thought it was the menu system, the UI, all of it was pretty cumbersome. And it just didn't work as well as every other dungeon crawler I've ever played. Especially when you're constantly managing equipment, you want to very clearly see, if I replace this shield with this shield, what changes is it going to make? And you're looking, and it's not abundantly clear. It should be right in front of you. Green numbers, red numbers. It's just not there. And then when I actually jumped into VR, I was like, oh my god, this is actually worse somehow. They kind of move things around for the VR version, and it's somehow worse. And so no, I'm not a fan of the UI either. And I'm not usually a person that has issues with it. Like No Man's Sky doesn't bother me. Skyrim doesn't bother me. It's like all this shit. It's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I'm like, you know what? I'll deal with what we got. I didn't like this from the get-go. I don't like the PSVR version. For the UI, I think the game's still fun.
And I think that's why I was taking issue a little bit when you said it's just because I'm picky about UI. I don't think that's it at all.
The reason I brought that up is because you also are very, very critical about Skyrim and the menus and stuff. And I'm just trying to compare and contrast the difference. The menus are not a problem for me in Skyrim, and this was a similar thing. And look, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to point out that
what I'm saying is that you're trying to angle this in a way that it's about my subjective likes or dislikes in a game, when I think Brian and I are
all subjective. I know. Even if it's two of you, it's still subjective.
Not a good UI.
All three of us.
It is objectively not a good UI implementation.
All three of us have chimed in. It doesn't bother AJ. It really bothers me and Dave. We've all chimed in.
The UI, which is
why I sucks. Oh my no!
It's fine.
Listen,
I find it very easy to use.
We don't have to agree. I'm glad we all got our point across.
Yeah. I'm not trying to insult you or anything.
I'm just saying don't make it about my personal taste. I'm saying the UI in this game has nothing to do with if I'm picky about shit. It's not a great implementation. I'm trying to say this.
Well, the VR implementation in this game is not the greatest, but that does not stop this game from being a fantastic game, in my opinion, for at least for what I want. Because let me tell you a little bit about the looting system and the stats and the abilities. There is so much.
I've been trying to get a break in here. Please remember all of that for one second. Now let's Ryan, the game feline, with a $5 donation saying, loving Operencia, and the item descriptions are hilarious. There's a good bit of humor in this. There's a lot of reading too.
It's cheeky.
Yeah. Also, Genetic Blasphemy with the $5 donation saying Operencia versus Table of Tales. My tolerance for fantasy has always been paper thin, but I love Skyrim. Genetic Blasphemy, I'm going to 100% say Table of Tales. It's just easier to get into, and it will not be. We'll get into why Operencia can be really frustrating soon. Table of Tales, not frustrating.
I like Operencia more.
Much different experience. Like,
so far,
you're in the game, Operencia.
Right.
You are like, you've got a dungeon master in front of you and you're playing D&D and Table of Tales. So,
but let me talk about some of the things I love about this game.
Please
because look, I'm totally fine with all the knocks on the VR implementation stuff. But it's fine. But to me, I'm still enjoying this just as a game, just like how I like No Heroes Allowed, which is not a very good like VR kind of game or VR experience. It's still just the strength of it is just the fun of the game itself. And in VR, I'm still having a blast with this because the looting system. Anybody that's ever played something like Diablo 3 with all that loot, and then you have like skill points to put in, and then you have abilities to unlock that you can completely customize. It's not as deep as Diablo 3, obviously, because that's a AAA game and it's like huge, but this does have a lot of meat to the gameplay, a lot of depth to the gameplay. And you can also respec anything at any time. You can respec your skills. So if you're not happy with it, you can change it, and you can choose your different attack. You can be all strength and just brute force your way through certain sections, or you can be all magic and do elemental damage to people. And I love the options. I love the depth of it. There's also, besides the skill points and abilities and all that, there is like set items, so you can find like pieces of armor that go to a set, and then they give you things. What I love about this game, guys, what I'm trying to say here is that this game has a ton of real dungeon crawler tropes that I absolutely love, from Diablo, from even smaller games like Dungeon Hunter Alliance. This game has so many good dungeon crawler tropes, and I refuse to let people praise Crystal Rift and then bash this game. Like this game is everything I hated, is everything opposite of Crystal Rift. Everything I didn't like about Crystal Rift, I love about this game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with part of what you said. This is classic dungeon crawler to maybe too much of a solid degree. What I like about when people bring old genres or forgotten genres into the new generation of games is when they actually say, here's what didn't work about dungeon crawlers of old, and fix that, and say, listen, we're gonna make sure that the game is polished from beginning to end, and make sure that it doesn't have like these huge difficulty spikes, and it does make sure that you can play this however you want to, and whatever. Like, gaming has evolved, and Operencia hasn't really evolved. And as much as I've been enjoying it, I got to a point, and I'm not the only one. When I did a search online for Stone Golem, it was like, Operencia problems? I'm like, yes, indeed. And it was like, because I've been playing this game the way I wanted to play it. I was leveling up my characters the way I wanted to level up, and basically being able to mash on the X button quite a bit throughout the course of the game, and getting to a point where I suddenly was dying over and over and over. I died occasionally here and there, but it wasn't a big deal. I was like, okay, I'll just go in, slightly alter my strategy, no big deal, pay more attention to my stats, whatever. And I get to a fight that was just ridiculously unfair. And I kid you not when I say I spent 2 hours working on one fight.
Wow.
I respect my characters over and over, experimenting with different strategies. I respect their abilities, respect their points, everything. And I was like,
before or after you looked up the walkthrough?
Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, I guess this morning I looked it up, and so I'd spent a lot of time on this before looking it up.
Yeah.
And what had to happen was that AJ joined my game this morning, and he got in on SharePlay and showed me exactly how he leveled up his characters and respect all of my characters to the way he did it. And as much as I appreciate AJ and being like, hey, this is a great way to move forward, and here's how you can level up your characters to like beat this a lot easier, and he did first try. Thank you very much. The downside of that is there's not a lot of customization in this game, and you don't get to play this game the way you want to. And at a certain point, you're going to hit a wall and say, I have to go change everything. It's because I'm trying to play this game a particular way, and the game in its linearity is saying, no, you have to do this, but then not telling you. And that's quite a wall to hit when you're having fun, enjoying yourself, and then suddenly it's just not fun anymore. I don't mind taking 10 tries to beat a boss, but when it took me 2 hours to beat a boss, it was frustrating beyond the point of where a modern dungeon crawler should be.
It's funny that you bring up a good point. This game is hard, man, and I think that's another reason I love it. It is brutal. It is so difficult. Normal feels like hard. I can only imagine it probably needed an easy mode for most people, but it because normal is not normal. Normal
it needs to balance the difficulty
every
spikes.
fight.
I mean, that's just weird,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, it just,
There's a couple, yeah. I don't know. I mean, so I do love. I'm trying to like gather all my thoughts, and there it is difficult, and there are a couple bosses and stuff where I struggled, but like I said, I reset. I don't know if the formula that I did. I was just showing you what I did to that worked, and yours was actually different than mine from a little bit because you had different characters. Your main guy is a warrior, mine's a mage. So like
Oh, mine's a mage too. Yeah,
I
that's
did
it.
have to do some stuff differently. So I don't know the extent when you say there's like, it's linear in terms of like the strategies to win. I'm not entirely sure about that. Not saying that it's not the case because
I
it could
think
be.
I think RPGs are kind of intrinsically linear in how you progress. Like a boss requires a certain loadout and a certain spec and a certain thing. Like Brian couldn't get past because he hadn't optimized his characters for that specific boss.
Right.
They could kill everybody that got up to him till that point.
Right.
And then all of a sudden this boss requires a very specific customization, which is like if the game's not helping you out or giving you any tips on how to do that, you end up in a situation like Brian where he's like fiending for help and just like who can fix this for me, how do I progress?
well,
And that's kind of frustrating. I mean,
but I don't mind RPGs that do that. I don't mind it because most RPGs let you grind, and you say, you know what, this boss
yeah,
is too hard.
you can't
I'm gonna
grind.
go.
You
I'm gonna
can't
go
grind in
back.
here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the last place I was at, and I'm just gonna run around the field, and I'm gonna keep killing enemies and keep killing enemies and keep leveling up my characters. And that way, you grind to the point where you can, where you can add more skill points, or you found more armor or whatever. There are a set number of enemies in this game.
Yep.
Once you kill them on the field, they are gone forever. And that means the game, again, in its linearity, is saying, we want you to be at this skill level when you reach this boss, and if you can't figure out the proper, if you can't work with our battle system, not battle system, if you can't manipulate the skills and the attributes the way we want you to, then you ain't getting through it. And I feel like that is some outdated shit. And again, I'm trying to say how much I love this game, but they just screwed up major things that made me hate it for long periods of time, which is crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
it's a real love hate relationship.
like you said, like these games have always sort of had intrinsically like some flaws that we didn't really fix when we brought this into a VR format, right? It still has the frustrations of a classic dungeon crawler, some unique frustrations, and it's its own thing, but it still kind of recreated what wasn't working about previous incarnations of this stuff. But at the same time, like Zen Studios specifically says, we're trying to hit that nostalgia market. Like we want to tickle that itch and say, hey,
It's
you
working
remember
for
these
me.
kind of games? And like for me too, like I'm into it. But like you said, this is one of those games where you can't unequivocally say, this is a perfect game. I love everything about it. You can say, I'm really invested in this game. I want to keep playing it. But this is a pain in the ass. That's a pain in the ass. I don't like the UI, this, that, what the other thing. It's good enough that you see through that stuff if you're invested in it. If it clicks with you at some point, you'll get over all the negative stuff we're saying. If not, then you're going to hate this game. You're
Yeah.
going to be like, this thing is trash.
This
So
game is
it's
definitely
really
not for
yeah.
everybody and anybody. It is not for that. But I do feel like it is something I've wanted very, very bad. And it is despite being a bad VR thing, we'll get that one in a little bit.
Yeah.
Despite it having like really not the best, I'd say actually kind of somewhat poor VR implementation. I still love a lot of what it's doing. The variety, like every area you go through, you're there for a while, but it just the gameplay depth to me just keeps refreshing, keeps it fresh by having to change your skills like each section, or you run into a fire boss. You want to unequip all your fire stuff and use water or ice instead. To me, that's just simple gameplay tropes like that I absolutely love. And before I get on to the other thing, we do have two donations. One
Yeah.
from Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric Big Money.
This is a really funny. I don't know if you guys know the context of this name, but there's a YouTube series called Internet Comment Etiquette, which is a funny kind of viral video. He looks at viral videos and posts comments on them. It's just a funny thing, and the guy's name is Eric. So he's turned internet comment etiquette into etiquette
I like it.
to make his game cat name with Eric Big Money, and Eric Big Money is his nickname for himself, the guy who does those videos. So that's all there.
The 5 quid donation saying, "Hello, Brian, Dave, and the other one."
Other one.
We should, AJ, at some point we should put your name on the screen so people know who you are. My name is Eric.
so.
I must say this community is very well behaved. How did you get them all so complacent?
Snorgies. Lots of snorgies.
In pizza, everyone's in a food coma all the time.
Yeah.
Twitcher says it was because of catnip. I said it was because we ban anyone who questions us.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Some catnip, some pizza.
A little bit of banning.
Snorgies.
That's how you. That's the perfect combination.
Brian loves
ratio.
snuggles.
Snuggles
people
are
like
great.
receiving Brian snuggles.
And then who's our second tip from AJ?
Who doesn't like cats?
It is from Brian Piccolo.
Piccolo.
With the $4.99 donation. Says, if the UI in Operencia is divisive between you guys, I can't wait to hear you discuss the K-pop soundtrack.
Well, so there is no K-pop in Operencia. Just to be clear, there is not a K-pop soundtrack
Guys,
to Operencia.
the soundtrack
of a Beat Saber.
The soundtrack in Operencia, I'm not kidding you, is like one of my favorite of all time. Like it's not that it's the most memorable songs. It's just so like rich and orchestrated, and some of it has like some Danny Elfman vibes, like
Good
in your creepy forest and stuff, or some of it just sounds like pretty epic. But I love the music in this game. Whoever did the music in this game is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against the music, nothing against sound effects. On the flat screen, I think this game is kind of beautiful.
Oh, actually, can we get something? You just brought up something we haven't talked about. Sound in general. The sound effects are fine. Actually, the dialogue is fine as well. I think the mixing is really weird. If you get into combat, one thing that I've noticed when I'm trying to play, like for a minute I was like, I'm not going to wear headphones. I'm just going to play on my surround sound, right? And everything in combat, the hits, all the little UI sounds were very quiet. The music, very quiet. And then as soon as my dude made a quip, like a little cheeky, like one-liner, it was so fucking loud that like my subwoofer was like, like the mixing in the combat scenes. I don't know if you've noticed this, guys, but like depending on your sound setup, the dialogue is way louder than anything else that's happening. And so, like, say you did decide to play this in a setting where, like, you got your whole surround sound, subwoofer, all that shit going, like, it's going to sound really quiet and then suddenly very loud. So there's something going on with the mixing here.
Mixing is a little wonky, but
it's wonky.
Something else that didn't bother me though.
We missed a tip.
Yep,
I
got it.
We missed a tip. Okay.
I got it. K-Panic, the artist formerly known as GameCat. Very sorry, I actually saw this when it came through, and I giggled to myself.
That's what you were giggling about.
Yeah. With a $3 donation saying AJ's K-pop band name, PSVR, Unperground. Unperground. I can't say it in a funny way.
Dang.
But it's a great name, and I wish I could say it in a funnier way. I wish I could purr, and then
someday
get a purr. Can you say that sound ground?
PSVR Unperground.
Ooh, I just get the chills. That's exactly what I needed right now. Thank you very much, K-Panic. Sorry we missed that one. Yeah. So here's, I mean, just I know we don't want to go on about Operencia forever, but what I do want to
I could talk about this game forever.
Okay.
I could talk
we
about
can
it.
only talk about it for 20 more minutes.
I'm only 12 hours
20
in,
minutes.
and I'm only halfway through the game. People always want, again, this is not going to be for everybody because it is very difficult. I think it's going to turn a lot of people off. There's a lot of people that look for VR games for certain things. They want the interactive, immersive things only. But then there's a game like this that is actually 20 plus hours long. That's a good game. I think it is good. A great game, maybe even. And yeah, but it's just people aren't gonna play this. People aren't gonna, not a lot of people. This doesn't have that mass appeal that some games have, and it's kind of a shame, man. Because here's your $20 game. So 30 hour game. So I'm hoping that the ones that do want those like longer games and stuff would at least look into this a little bit more, see if they're interested.
Look into it and see if it's for you. But like I was saying during my live stream, I was saying the great thing about being, the guy that reviews everything over here is that I have to play everything. And so many times a game will come along, like Table of Tales. I probably would have skipped Table of Tales just because I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about like D&D or
No,
like
no, no, no,
right.
no, no.
Right. And so being
Can't do
forced to
that.
have played it, I was like, oh my God, this game is great. I had so much fun. And actually that's how I felt about this game for the first 6 hours. I was like, oh, thank God. Because the last thing I was in the mood for was to bring back a style of game that I haven't played in 30 plus years. And playing an actual dungeon crawler, not just a dungeon crawler inspired game, but an actual dungeon crawler. I was like, this is actually really fun, and this is really giving me everything that I want, and it is deep, and there is customization, and then it kind of shits the bed for me at a certain point where I just like you know what, I recommend the first 6 hours of this game a lot. And then I just like, I'm having a real hard time recommending this game. There's even, as far as like the fundamental thing that dungeon crawlers do is the grid-based system, right? Where like you're not even, when you're controlling this, you're not actually controlling it in first person like you think you are. You're not just using first person controls. You're going box to box to box to box, not teleporting, full locomotion, but it's like you are only going grid. It's like Lara Croft, right? Tomb Raider 1. It was squares. You couldn't move. That's a bad comparison. That's a horrible comparison,
It's a bad
actually.
comparison.
Yeah,
Really, it's not the same.
There's something there, but it's not what I'm trying to say. And so you're just moving from square to square to square, and I kept wondering. I was like, at what point is the game going to go, oh, Brian, this is why we're making you play it this way. This is why we decided to make a dungeon crawler instead of a first-person adventure. And I've yet to get to that point. And on top of that, I've experienced puzzles that are really poorly implemented because of the fact it's a grid on the ground that you're walking around. There's a point where you actually have to take these circles and put them in holes in the ground and line up some pattern. But you have to stand so far away. You can't walk right up to the hole in the ground. Because then then you just walk too far past it. So from a distance, you're solving some of these puzzles.
This actually brings up a point that I wasn't thinking of, but is actually pretty important as far as the interactions in VR. This implementation, anything that you want to interact with, say it's like a piece of wood you're breaking down to make firewood, or a chest you're trying to open, or like Brian said, a puzzle. Anything. You have to look at it with your face, and it has to think that you're looking at it and register that. And then you interact. But what Brian's saying, which is kind of a constant problem in the game, is if you're on the square in front of the thing that you're trying to interact with, you're too close to it. It's like right below your dick. And you're like, how the fuck? And then you got to back up and you're like, how do I get it from here? And then you're going back and forth, trying to figure out how to get your eyes to look at the thing the way it wants you to. And that is stressful. And especially, it sounds like in a puzzle situation, can add some kind of unneeded pain in the ass.
Well, it's like, why are you like? They're the ones who made the puzzles. Zen Studios. They made the puzzles to fit into a world with this type of locomotion. It was like, you didn't think about this when you were designing this puzzle. Like, you have to stand like 20 feet away from the fucking hole in the ground to solve the hole in the ground puzzle from 20
but I'm
feet
sure
away.
on flat screen when they made it, you can just hold down on the right stick and look at the thing until it lights up and just hit X.
No, you
right?
can.
Like,
No, you can. But even on the flat screen, it's not right. It's just not right. It doesn't feel right. You're standing way too far away from it, or you're standing, or it's under your dick, like he said.
So you're saying even on flat screen?
Yeah,
it's like that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that goes into the scaling thing that we're talking about too, because like sometimes stuff is like it's like right in front of you, and it's suddenly weirdly big or weirdly small, and you're just like, "What's that about?" And trying to interact with those things can be funky sometimes too. So I don't know. That said, we like the game, guys. We like the game.
Yeah, it could have fooled me.
Here's
the puzzles
what I
are goofy as hell, but I actually like
AJ,
them.
Chill. So this is one of those games where, like, I would say my best recommendation for this is people who are into the genre, but who don't always finish games that they buy. Just like me. So, like, Mage's Tale, I was like, that was pretty cool, because I didn't get to the frustrating part that Brian and AJ were like, this part sucks ass. And so in this game, I'm like, that's pretty cool, because I haven't gotten to the part that they're talking about. And there's a chance I might not. But I'm at least enjoying the game, and I'll play enough until I feel like I got something out of it. Like,
use a guide.
I'm never a completionist. I want to taste all 32 flavors. You know what I mean? I don't want to eat a whole pint of one thing. Yeah. So, like, that's kind of my mentality. But, like, if you're in that mindset, you can get some good fun out of this game. I think it probably is, like Brian said, pretty nerve-wracking and pain in the ass, frustrating at the end. Because that's not just Brian's complaint. That's a common complaint on the internet I've seen on Steam and a bunch of other places.
I still have a long
You
way
know,
to
if
go.
you
These are not
appreciate
final
if you
thoughts, just
appreciate a
FYI.
20 to 30 hour game that you can like the first 15 hours of a lot, then you know that's something.
It
I
is
don't know. What
something.
do you guys think? Final kind of thoughts on this one?
I have a long way to go. I don't want this to be my final
Yeah.
thoughts. I just want to say, like I hit a couple road bumps, and as much as I'm enjoying the game, I think that, yeah, like AJ said, it's not going to be for everyone. And in fact, I think that it's going to be for a very, very small, select few group of people. As much as I was enjoying it at first, and being like, oh man, I missed this style of gameplay, I very quickly realized why I don't miss this style of gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got I stuck on the same part Brian did, and I eventually got past it. And then there are some difficulty spikes and stuff. But I like the constant challenge in this game. It is very difficult, like I said, but I like the constant challenge, the constant change of environments, the constant change in gameplay. You guys didn't even talk about like how you get shovels, how you make potions and stuff, and all these other little cool
I
things.
still
that
don't
are
know
in
how
the
to make
game.
the potion. I got to figure out how to make the potion.
Making
Yeah,
potions is fun.
it's kind of it's a riddle. It's a riddle that you solve, and then like you get it forever, and then every time you rest,
Yeah.
it resets, and then you can also equip them. There's really, really deep stuff that if you look at the details and all the in this game, there's a lot of cool stuff to tinker around with and mess with and
And
discover.
I'm not to like downplay that at all, but like a lot of it is standard RPG stuff. To be honest, it is like what you'd expect out of an RPG. Like it's got the depth of what seems like a real RPG, which is a good thing because a lot of games that seem like RPGs in VR don't actually have the full depth you'd expect out of a thing like that. Like it looks and it quacks like an RPG, but it's not actually an RPG.
Right.
This one is straight up an RPG,
AJ
but it's
mentioned
not like they go above and beyond with mechanics. It's like standard RPG mechanics for the most part.
AJ mentioned the shovel, and I do have to say the shovel's a lot of fun because when you find out that you can find buried treasure all around the level and then go back to past levels eventually. You eventually get to change party members. You eventually get to go back to old levels. You eventually find a merchant. There's all these things that sort of happen, once you're knee deep into the game, and then you find out that there's hidden treasure in all these levels that you already explored and reason to go back. You found you as you're going through the first levels, you're finding things that you can't access and go, well, how the hell do I get over there? And eventually you get this power and head on back and get over there. So and those things are a lot of fun. It's one of those games that I would 100% over the top recommend so far if it wasn't for these huge hiccups. And it's funny because we did the same exact thing with Iron Man. It was so hard to be like, oh man, Iron Man's so much fun, but when there's these giant obstacles in your way of enjoying it. And I think this is the exact same thing. I was having a lot of fun, but there's giant obstacles in my way of totally enjoying it. And that's why the conversation sounds so negative, because there's these things in the way.
I think it's a little tougher than Iron Man because Iron Man, like, so in this kind of instance, he would say, oh, if you're into this genre, if this is the kind of niche game that you like from the past, you're into this dungeon crawler thing, you got to play this, right? You'll like it despite its flaws. And I think all of us have some appreciation for that genre. At least like it's cool. We kind of like it at some level, even if we didn't play a bunch of these games growing up. But at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to say that the general public would be interested in it in a way that Iron Man has. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that Marvel fans are much bigger of a populace than people who like old school classic dungeon
The
crawler
experience
grid
is
based.
different, man.
Oh, sorry.
The experience is
Sorry.
much
I'll-
different. But
I didn't realize
what
we
I
weren't
think
giving
we
AJ any
both-
time to talk. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, the last thing I want to say before I'll let AJ go, is I think that if you like this idea, if you like the concept of the game, if you like what you hear about the way it works, like the mechanics, the depth of skilling up and optimizing your character and all this stuff, that old school RPG thing, you will be able to overlook the shortcomings. Everything we've said, even if it kind of throws up the hairs on the back of your neck and you're like, oh, the UI sucks and it's scaled weird, you'll get over it. If you like this style of game, you will get sucked into it, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
So I think just know what you're buying when you get into it. For a lot of people, this will be one of those things where it's like almost like a cult classic. Like, it's got problems. It's not the perfect thing, but it hits enough of the right notes that people resonate with it and say, this is for me. I like this thing a lot. and I think it has that potential for people. So that's my overall thoughts on it.
AJ, what are your final thoughts on Operencia before we call it a day?
Well, like I said, I haven't finished it. I think if you're looking for some crazy VR as fuck experience, this is not that. I do think this is a damn good game, though, a damn good dungeon crawler. Deep looting system, tons of variety, constantly changing. If you like tons of challenge, if you like just games that is just like brutal and is just like, beats you down and makes you keep pushing, keep trying to figure out. It's very, very rewarding in that sense. I'm a big loot fanatic. I love loot, and there's lots of loot in this, lots of ways to combine different attacks and stuff. Like I said, lots of different skill sets and things to work with. So overall, not done yet, 12 hours in, but I am very, very much enjoying this game. I don't believe it's going to be for everybody, for even a lot of people maybe. But if you do like challenges and brutal dungeons and want this experience in VR, it is very, very good at that as a game. One thing I got to say about the combat, when the combat happens, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this goes into like, it almost reminds me of like an arcade cabinet. Like you're playing a turn-based like thing in VR, but to me, for something about the presentation of the fights reminds me of like, I don't know. It reminds me of like I'm playing some turn-based arcade game or something. It's just a really cool and unique experience that I like turn-based games a lot, by the way. So maybe that has something to do with it. I do like turn-based games. But yeah, I wouldn't want this for everything, but I just am very, very much enjoying this for what it is. Absolutely.
And off of what AJ said, I want to slide it a teensy add-on as a kind of a gameplay mechanics thing that we didn't talk about. The combat itself, the way it's structured, is actually a little unique. You have 3 planes. Guys are either close to you, in middle range, or in far range, and all of your attacks are effective at different ranges in different ways. So you kind of have to think about like, okay, this guy's back here. What attack do I want to use on him? And the characters do tend to have like poison resistance, or they can't be affected by this. There's always some defense that they have against whatever you've got. So you got to think about what you're doing, plan out like the space of the attack. He's back there. I got to get him at a long range, all that stuff. And the game mechanically rewards you for that. So yeah, I think the depth of the combat is actually kind of fun, but arcadey too. Like you said, it's like, is he here, here, or here? How do I attack? It's pretty simple, but fun. Anyways, sorry. Brian, what do you got?
That's it, man. I think we've all said our piece on Operencia.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Three. I mean, despite the fact that we have things that we disagree on, I think we all still said this is a pretty cool game.
This is a very strong 2 for me. Very strong.
Oh, guys, hold on real quick. Anybody in the chat, the first person in the chat from the EU region to tell me what their favorite old school RPG or dungeon crawler is gonna win a copy of Operencia for the EU region. I got one sitting around, so I would love to give it away to one of you guys.
Start naming.
Is that happening right now?
Yeah, right now.
Start naming and good luck.
Someone and say EU, give me your PSN, and say what's your favorite classic dungeon crawler. And you gotta want the game. Don't resell the key or whatever. Like, you gotta want the game. That's the main rule.
All right, you guys. Well, there are 6 minutes left until the Walmart pre-orders go up for PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Make sure you go to walmart.com or whatever way you want to buy your system. If you haven't already gotten one, this sounds like it's happening in 5 minutes now. So if you need one, it sounds like you should head on over there. And also join our Discord, because we keep a lot of great community members trying to keep everyone updated on different places to get your pre-order. So I thank everybody. I want to end this so that people can get out of here and head on over there and take care of what they need to take care of. We don't want to get in the way of anyone's pre-order. Thank you.
Yeah, but we'd love to hear in the Discord, once you get your pre-order in, show us that cart, send us that screenshot, say, oh man, I got it. Because everybody's been doing that. It's so fun. The excitement, the feeling of like, just that energy, like, oh man, I finally got mine. And people helping each other. Like in our Discord, if you need help getting a PS5 pre-order, just hang out. People will help you. It's going to be great. That's all. Something happened? What, it was you just like sitting there silently?
Making sure everyone has time to say what they need to say, because we're about to end the show. Thank you to all the cats who hung out in the chat. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you.
Nobody won the game yet.
You know how long it takes to end the show, Dave?
Won it. K-Panic won it.
Congrats, K-Panic.
All right, K-Panic, you got it.
Oh, yeah,
Takes so
K-Panic.
long
His
to
favorite
end the
dungeon
show.
crawler is World of K-pop.
Thank you to everyone who hung out during this stream. Thank you to everybody who's watching
Hey,
it
shut the
later.
fuck up.
Cue the cat. We love you all.
Love you guys. Because I want to say goodbye to Hack the Game Cat, Johnny Rypop the Stray Cat, Todd Nielsen, who is gone now, Twitcher, the single player Game Cat, K-Panic, the artist formerly known as Game Cat, Decepticon, Kramer 3K, David Moore, Cileon, Final Fantasy Tactics, Mustard Custard, Jowsy, Liberty 309, Silent Evil 999, Red Rover, the effing Game Cat, Dan Kiefer, Sunshine, happy fun times, just incredible.
Tell me to shut the fuck
Right
up.
on an escalator 7.
Are we still going? Oh, we're
Yeah.
still going. You
Yeah,
shut
sorry.
the fuck up. They know their own names.
Yeah. Mark Pringle's Leaf, Perfected Insanity. There's the Game Cat, King Franku. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Kill Artist 1, the Dream Weaver, Game Cat. The VR Grid, Ryan from VR Grid. What is up, my dude? Rody, the Game Cat. Where's the cat at? Angel Kempa. Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric Big Money. That Buoyant Cat. Genetic.